Okay, there it is. Okay. All right, pressing the button now. And going live in... Now, we're live. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're in the loading screen or the, temp screen. Oh, particularly rude.
I think we can hear. I think you can be.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there you go. You can speak now, by the way.
Hello.
I just had to check that because for some reason I can't separate the mixes between the two scenes. Which is
good. Excellent work.
Which is very strange.
Well, yes. Hello everybody. We are live here now.
We are indeed live, yes.
And we are joined this week by Scrump. Andrew Wilson was originally going to join us, but his power apparently
went out, yeah.
Dipped out. So I think if you actually, I did change it because I had a link to his channel. But maybe next week. But Scrump came in clutch to join us the last minute for this week's coverage of Clown World. Just absolute. I don't even know anymore. It's just all so tiresome.
Hello, everybody. I won't actually forget to show this week. My YouTube channel is in the description, and it is also, I just linked it in the chat there. So, yes, I invited myself 5 minutes ago. I had no idea it had a cancellation. I just realized, oh, shit, my plans this evening have fallen through a little bit, or I'm not doing what I was thought I was going to do. So I thought I might as well come join you guys on stream and have a comfy Wednesday evening. So I try to use my radio voice too.
Yes, we always have comfy evenings here, or we try to. Comfy Wednesdays.
Although there's an echo, and Spoon can only be heard in the echo.
No, is it? No. Is there an echo? Or are they talking about the show?
There isn't an echo now.
Okay. Oh, this is what you've been doing all night, Spoon. You've been like, there's no problem. There's no issue with my audio, and then you're like, well, now there's not. After you fix it.
Well, people should be able to hear me now.
Okay. All right. Speaking of echo, real quick, I am going to watch that tonight. And everything I've heard about it is that it's just insufferably boring. But I am going to watch it. It did come out today. I don't know if I'm going to do a review because I don't know how that would work on my channel. I guess I could do a review and put it on one of my side channels or something. Or make it like a Patreon video. I have no idea. That seems pointless, but I don't know. I'm really invested in that because I'm obviously
Jake, you're not hearing me because I'm not saying anything.
Kind of a fan of Daredevil. And I think I'm like the only person on Earth who cares about the character of Daredevil besides the man who invented her, David Mack, who got snippy at me on Twitter, called me a hater. And then I was like, David, you've signed like 2 hardcovers of my copies of Echo in person when I was dressed as Elektra, dude. Like, I'm not a hater.
Sad.
I know.
Chat is saying something valuable, which is hate watching is still watching.
But
it's true, yes.
Am I paying for it? Yes, of course I'm paying for Disney Plus.
You're
obviously.
Paying for it.
Are you?
Time.
This will be the first thing I know everyone says no hate watching, but I have not hate watched anything in a long time. Why? Because this is again a character only I care about. I didn't watch Hawkeye, but apparently I didn't have to because the first episode is literally it's like 30 of the 40 minutes of it is just recut scenes from Hawkeye. Because they know no one watched it.
Nobody did watch Hawkeye. I found out about Hawkeye from the show being bad. I was like, wait a minute. They made a Hawkeye show?
I know, right? And Hawkeye is like my second favorite Marvel character. So and I didn't watch that either. So yeah, you finally got me. I'm interested enough because this character is so obscure, so bottom of the barrel that it's like, wow, really? Echo? Okay.
They're really scraping. Ooh,
yeah,
they're reaching down in the bag. There's the crumbs in the bottom. That's what they picked out.
It's all they've got left.
Oh no.
I suppose so. But so I am morbidly curious about it. Morbidly cute. I know, no hate watching. I know. Well, I thought.
In case you don't
and
know
that's
this,
actually-
Aiden is going to ignore that and just watch it regardless of whatever the hell we say.
yeah, I'm gonna get.
that
I'm
is
gonna
the
get drunk
reality
and watch it
situation.
tonight. I'm gonna get drunk and
Oh,
watch it tonight.
God.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Uh,
I mean, I'll make it fun.
women, I
Although
swear
it
to
sounds like
God.
there's absolutely no way to make it fun because it's so boring from what everyone. Even the it was funny because of all the reviews from before it came out. Basically, all said the same thing, which is that like, oh well, she's deaf and Native American, and that was really important and amazing and so stunning and brave. It's really boring and and basically unwatchable.
How are
but
people saying I'm echoing? Based on what?
No, they're mentioning the character.
I think so. Which is
yes.
how I didn't mean to transition into that. We'll
I was
transition into other
confused.
stuff later. Speaking of-
Apparently, I'm rather quiet. I don't know. The problem is I can't hear my own audio.
Right.
You're boosted by like 200% on my end, Scrump.
That's weird. You might have to boost me. Whoever's doing the stream might have to boost me a smidge. I don't know. Or maybe I should just boost myself. I don't want to be too loud. Am I quiet, chat? Am I
you're
quiet?
right. Ow!
Blue is here, Sam. Man, this
If I
is
wasn't
always
awake
a
before,
stream
I
of-
am
of
now.
The most professionalism.
But to be fair, everyone's audio is on a different level. Like I have to boost my audio by almost 16 dBs through Discord, and it's like 75% of my preamp. Like this microphone is quiet as shit. It's really made to be. I kind of want to buy an external one just so I can DS and totally not amp the crap out of my thing to make the voice sound boomier than it actually is.
Yeah,
Not
the
at
chat did
all.
think you were quiet, Scrum.
Yeah.
Vito and Dick Masterson were Dick writing Echo. I'm not shocked. Dick just is a contrarian. He just says the opposite of what.
There's a
I don't-
lot of dick writing just of things in general lately, and I have
Yeah.
no idea why. Oh, by the
I
way,
don't know.
Scrump, I
Weird
was
shit
accused
going
of that
on.
by someone in my chat today for you, apparently.
Which right. Yeah, you got accused of Dick writing Scrump, actually, right?
Yes. I don't
Over
quite know
what?
why. It's because what he said to Sargon.
What's that? Sorry.
I was accused of simping for you.
Really?
Yes.
Who said that? Who said that?
And someone in my comment section said something like simping for Scrump will get you nowhere. And we're like, if you think I was simping for him, you're not really paying attention.
I think
oh, yeah.
just people
Also-
can't understand getting along, I guess.
Also, Scrump, they also said that, you know, when you said, when Sargon asked you, what is your solution for the problem? And you pretty much
yeah.
just said, the current problems are an outgrowth of the regime. You don't, yes.
If you can boost me more, I am a little quiet. But yes, I don't know. That whole thing was bizarre to me. We'll probably talk about that a bit when we talk about maybe the
Right.
James Lindsay
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, because we
So-
talked about that last week. You're back and forth
Yeah.
with Sargon on the stream.
Yeah, because I thought it was weird, because I thought your take was fairly sentient and normal, and someone said that you were advocating for genocide, and we're like, what the fuck?
What?
How
Dude.
how did you get to that? That was
People
bizarre.
go insane on this shit that people say on Twitter. I mean, it's obviously about the low media richness of Twitter, and the de-individuation effects of it. That it just brings out the absolute worst and dumbest aspects of people. Like I was talking to you about both of you about this earlier, but yes, I guess Destiny must have put up the clip of us talking from last week about J6. Destiny has not shut up about Jan 6 for like a week and a half. He's been tweeting about it constantly. He's
That's
on a
because he's a
warpath over it.
maniac.
I have
Again,
a theory.
I don't just
I have a theory
yeah.
about that.
Go on.
My theory is that this is the last January 6th anniversary before the
Right.
election, and they're
Yeah.
trying to wring the ladder.
really
Pulling the cheats out,
I
trying
agree
to
with
get the
that.
last drops of it out, trying to wring it out as far as possible. I think that's what I think.
I
anyway.
agree. That's
I
it.
agree
Because
with
I've
that,
got
yeah.
some Jan 6 stories here. And no, like I said,
You know who's
and I
also
said this
losing
this
his
week.
mind over it? Dev.
Yeah. Again, the way that Destiny framed it on Twitter is he said, I think I can change the minds of conservatives on J6. And
No,
I
he
said,
can't.
sure. But I said, sure. I'm genuinely, I see if you can change my mind. He brought up some things that I didn't have great answers to. And I said, I don't agree, but you gave me a lot of things to think about. And we talked about 45 minutes. I thought it was a decent conversation. And then I guess he uploaded a clip of it. And yesterday I got told to sterilize myself by one of his fans. And it's just like,
Aiden,
And
you got told. Being told to do anything sexual by a fan of Destiny
not that I
all.
should be. Excuse me, that I should be forcibly sterilized. Excuse me, I need to reframe
I
that.
don't know.
These are I just that is why we're I think where we're at. The people, you cannot talk to each other. And I haven't watched the full debate between him and Alex Jones. I heard Alex kind of bungled it, but
okay. So
J6.
I did watch that.
You did, what do you think? What do you think?
So here's the thing: the three cucks on the left-hand side, their opinion is irrelevant because this is okay. We're on YouTube, so we can say this. Clearly, there was some fudging of the numbers. That is objectively true. So, if you have the fudging of the numbers, any sane person would went, this is not legitimate, there's fudging of the numbers, and the person who is supposed to be elected has every right to attack the current problem in the manner that is befitting the chief executive. That is what a sane person would do. These people, however, hate fucking Trump. And so their base thing is like, no, the election was fair, therefore anything Trump did is bad. Like, that's like, the premise is where it goes wrong. And
right,
basically, once the faulty premise is initiated from the left, it doesn't matter what they say because you're basically building a house on a false foundation. So basically, I just listened to the entire debate and when there's no fucking point because they're all arguing from a position of I'm right and here is why.
So what you're saying is that the Destiny's position was divorced from reality, is what you were saying.
Yes, essentially. But no, but here's the thing.
There's been an issue with Destiny though in the past before.
Aiden, you asked me how do they do?
Sure.
So this is basically what happened. You must know how Alex gets when he's faced with a group. Is he does not do well in groups because he acts like himself. Yes, but in one-on-one, he can be normal. Like on Tucker, he was really good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, in groups, he
tends to be kind of spurgy. Yeah. The best person of the debate, hands down, was Glenn Greenwald. Like, Glenn Greenwald
I'm not surprised by that.
fucking annihilated the place.
Yeah.
He barely spoke,
fan, so.
but for every, 5 minutes that everyone else spoke, he spoke, 10 seconds, and he said more things in substance of 10 seconds than all of them did with, half an hour.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, he just absolutely annihilated the place.
The whole point of that debate, right, was to get the whole point, the premise, right, was the left and the right don't talk anymore. So let's get them to talk. And then it was apparently a shit show. But that was again why I went on to talk. Was it like, well, I'm willing to, I'm open. I'm open to having my mind change. And then, and it's not, and again, it's not what happened with it. It wasn't just the one guy, by the way. It was quite a number of comments.
Yeah, Greenwald was saving Destiny.
That were pretty crazy that I got yesterday on Twitter, which again, I think he must have uploaded it or something because the debate was last week. And then all of a sudden yesterday, it's just a deluge of the craziest, some of the craziest shit I've seen in a while on Twitter. And it's because, and that's really sad. I think but it's telling of the state of things, right? Is that you do go in good faith saying, okay, change my mind, not in the Steven Crowder, I'm going to talk to college kids and dunk on them because they don't know anything kind of way. It's not just legitimately. I'm open to it because I try to think that I am an open-minded person, and then to be told that I need to be forcibly sterilized, it's like wowee. But that's the state of politics. It is that extreme. There is absolutely no way, and I think that is very. I don't see the right doing a lot of that. Now it certainly exists, I'm sure. But I see less of that just because I think the right's still trying to win some kind of optics game. The left doesn't care anymore. Left just does not care about optics whatsoever at this point because they don't see any reason to. They think they have complete power.
Yeah,
they're going to just fortify again. Huge. Yeah. So why be civil? Why even pretend to be civil?
I suppose some of my earlier and I guess current online profile is based on being one of the few people, quote unquote, on the right who doesn't really care anything about optics. But I suppose that is very different. It does kind of mark me out as very different. And it has done for quite a while, to be honest. Yeah. There's a lot of the scumbag left thing that kind of hangs around, though. Honestly, it kind of feels like Destiny and a lot of people like that are almost like an anachronism now. They feel very outside of their time period, the Debate Me Bros. Yeah. It's kind of an odd one. It feels very old-fashioned. No offense, Aiden. I know that you're a Care Bear who likes rainbows and sunshine. Not in a bad way. You are, you are too pure for this world. You are too
thank you.
A lot of the time.
I don't know if it's not a good thing, though, in the long run.
Yeah.
But the idea of kind of the big conversation of engaging the left, I think, really ran out at least for a lot of
1965.
people. Yeah, I was gonna say in the current,
Here's the thing.
in the current
Destiny's willing to
cycle-
do it.
yeah.
It's not him that's the problem. It's the people
The
all
audience.
around him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
I mean-
think it's also him who's the problem. I've never seen him say anything particularly worthwhile, to be honest. I also don't think he particularly debates well. He just talks fast at people. He also never takes part in properly structured debates. It's a big bugbear of mine, and I always tell people this. And I'm glad that the only debate I've done recently was on AA's channel. I insisted that, one, he tried to be a good neutral moderator, and two, there was proper timekeeping, because debates require timekeeping.
Yeah.
They require opening statements, they
Yeah.
require rebuttal periods, they require a free-form period, and they require both moderator questions
Yeah.
and, to an extent, audience questions. But a debate should be very rigidly structured to stop, well, what Destiny does, which is just him talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and people mistaking volume of speech for validity of point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's obviously a key part of it.
Or breadth
that-
of language.
right? Or you know, again, it should be structured.
Yeah.
That's just not the way that things work on the internet, I guess. But you know, I think you're right that he might be anachronistic because the left is leaving him behind in a lot of
What, you
ways because
can?
they've become
Oh,
so much
shit.
far more radical. I mean, he invented Vosh, which I know I don't think he's very happy about, but that whole RedTube section of the internet and the world who are absolutely, I mean, we'll get to this later. I've got a clip from it. They outright call for violence constantly and then say that the right is violent in the same breath while calling for violence openly and doing violence openly. And let's not forget, we're talking a little bit about Jan 6 here. And I have some, we'll get into that. I wanted to start with a little monarchy meme, but when we actually get into the stuff I have prepared.
Well, their willingness and ability to engage in quote-unquote hypocritical behavior like that, especially when it comes to violence, is why they
Sure.
win.
Yes, it's
just
why
how they
right,
win.
because they don't care about hypocrisy. That is a major point. Is that the right for years, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody else, is on the right of going like pointing out the hypocrisy, and then you have to realize, but they don't care because they think that there is only one truth, and it's power. So they don't give a damn about being hypocritical. They don't care about being right. They care about having power. They don't care about truth. And when when the only thing that matters to you is power, then none of it seems they don't care about who. I don't think it seems hypocritical to them. But even if it did, why would they care? Is the hypocrisy keeping me from my power? No. Then who cares?
What I've always wondered is why those people don't like. The thing is, they're that in a really, really crap way. It's like, I just care about power. I'm an edgy person. Ooh, I'm immoral. That's why I'm going to become an online leftist and repeat 90% of the same things that CNN says.
Except
Just
the crazy
like,
thing
wow.
is that they don't think they're immoral. They think that the reason why they need all this ultimate power is because they
Everyone else
have
needs
the
to be
ultimate.
crushed.
They have the ultimate morality, and that's why everyone else needs to be crushed
they have
because
the
they are the
justification.
most moral in the world. All of their beliefs are sanctioned by God, and this goes into the esoteric, hermetic shit, you know, which I won't go down that rabbit hole. It's Gnosticism. It's Gnosticism is what it is at the end of the
You
day.
sound like Lindsay right now.
Well, yes, okay, we'll get it. Let's go to Twitter and look at the Twitter shit because I want to start with this meme. I'm sharing my screen though. I wanted because we'll go through the Twitter shit here and try to also
not
then.
Twitter.
I know,
Let's not go to
unfortunately.
Twitter. There's a silly place.
It is a silly place, yeah. Oh, but since there was one topic we weren't supposed to originally talk about, but since Andrew couldn't make it this week, I did put that now on the show notes, which is about the tunnel snakes.
The tunnel Jews. Oh no.
Anyway, I liked this meme from Sargon, speaking of quite a lot, which is
just by the way, speaking of the tunnel ones, I have decided to do a video on that, and I've decided to only do it on Rumble because I'm going to make a whole bunch of really, really edgy jokes that I could never ever do on YouTube in a million years.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, we're gonna.
Am I the only one who was not surprised by any of this?
No.
No, I wasn't surprised by it, but it's just like it's not how I expected 2024 to start. In the first week, it's like secret Jew tunnels.
Imagine the
my
people
God.
who heard that though, and they had to call.
Yeah,
God damn
in the
it. a fucking bell in the background. But imagine the people who have to call that into the police, and you have to call and say, "Excuse me, I can hear Jews under my floor." I mean, all online
Hey, who was that
schizophrenics
guy?
completely vindicated.
I know there was one guy
Everybody who said that there's Jews in their walls completely vindicated.
Yeah, there was one guy, I can't remember his name, where he specifically said that he could hear people speaking Yiddish. I can hear Yiddish under my floor. There's no basement in my house.
I live in New York.
Yes.
I'm not crazy.
He's not crazy, and he's like, I fucking told you so.
I told you so. So Biden posts this, a quote from him, which is, "I will say what Trump won't. Political violence is never, ever acceptable in the United States of America." That's funny because the Democrats spent all of 2020 burning down the country. And then he puts a comment on top of it, on the top of this image, saying, "You can't be pro-insurrectionist and pro-American." And I like Sargon's response just to post George III.
Hey, I did that first, goddammit.
Oh, did you?
That
Did
was
he
also
steal
my
your meme?
response. To be fair, I've been doing it for years. Just George III, and just a picture of "You miss me yet."
Oh, all the time.
And then I also point out what the tax rates were that were being
I know.
imposed, and
Oh, they
the
hate
nominal
that shit.
federal tax rate
They
now.
hate that shit.
But yeah.
No, but
You
see,
miss
that
me
was in a
yet?
different time. Everyone was so poor and impoverished. That's why the tax rates were different. We can't go back to that. We need social programs that
Yes,
More
we
money.
just
we need
waste
to,
money.
We need to
totally
grow
waste.
this. We need to grow the state so that people can get wealthier. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, I hate people.
Insane. I had a related kind of, sort of related to monarchies. Milwaukee's mayor responds to Washington, and this related to taxes as well. Washington County officials digs over a sales tax increase. On January 1st, the sales tax in the city of Milwaukee increased to 7.9%, and in Milwaukee County to 5.9%. A Washington County official took a social media jab at the city of Milwaukee when its new sales tax went into effect on Jan 1st, but Milwaukee's mayor had some strong words on the topic too. Quote, "Come to Washington County for the savings, stay for the quality of life," Washington County Executive Josh Showman posted on X, formerly Twitter. I know everyone has to say that. Whatever.
Here we go.
Twitter.
I don't know why.
I'll put it in the chat, but here's the proof. Here's the proof I made the meme first. There we go. There we go.
Excellent. Man, stealing memes. I'd never do that.
You've never stolen memes? You haven't lived.
Oh, I steal memes constantly. That's
I
well,
know
you-
that's the
when-
joke, Aiden. For fuck's sake.
Well, when,
I'm currently drinking and I'm kind of half drunk already, but you know what I mean.
Oh, great. Well, I don't know if you remember none of you would, but when Mitch, Charming Man, was on my server, I literally, his title was "Steal This Man's Memes."
Nice.
Exhibit A.
Hebrews in the walls. No.
Exhibit A. In the city of Milwaukee, today you will pay an additional $60 for this bedroom set, Showman said in his post, linking to an Ashley Furniture Store website page which showed a $2,449.98 bedroom set. There is an Ashley in Richfield, Washington County. But Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson had a few things to say about Showman. Excuse me, let me put the images on for this and turn the speed reader off because there's a photo of both of these people involved.
Length of
just
nose
let you know.
is the first thing I want to see.
Yeah, Showman. Let's see, where was I?
Oh my.
He said, I thought Josh Showman's comments were unfortunate, knowing that all communities need revenue. Man, I hate this website's format. Gross. I can't really scroll in on it. Thank you, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Johnson told the Journal-Sentinel, he continued, if folks are looking at a high dinner or a theater or a fine dining experience, they can come here or go to Cracker Barrel there. Now, I don't imagine that you two know what a Cracker Barrel is.
It's a
Of
restaurant.
course I know what it.
Oh, okay, I don't know. Are there, I don't think there's Cracker Barrels anywhere in the UK. I wouldn't
I've
imagine.
been to a Cracker Barrel because I've been
you-
to
really?
America and been to a Cracker Barrel. So was my
Okay,
girlfriend actually as well.
okay,
She said
all
it was
right.
some of the only edible food she could
Yeah,
get.
it's just for anyone who doesn't know, then it's just like moderately priced. Mostly, I think it's a breakfast place, but you can get all kinds of food there, and it's an old country store where you can get like weird kitschy little. There's a little store there you get weird little kitschy country sort of themed items and old candies or old styled candies. It's nice. But the absolute fucking elitism in display here. If you don't like how expensive it is to live here, then you can go have your Cracker Barrel. We'll have our fine dining and
Very
theaters. This is let them eat cake. This is let them eat.
Barrel.
Yeah, exactly. It's let them eat Cracker Barrel. I mean, what an asshole. Washington County residents are getting a boost as this is retaining the Brewers, the sports team, and helps a lot of people. Yeah, you need help to maintain your sports team. That makes
ball.
Yeah, your football team that makes enormous amounts of money. I think it's a football team. Might be baseball. Johnson said, citing that people from Washington County and other counties come to Milwaukee for sports events and lakefront fireworks. Showman is encouraging people to go to their county. Folks will pay more in gas than simply staying in Milwaukee. But Showman countered in a Jan 3rd phone interview with the Journal-Sentinel that a trip from the city of Milwaukee to Washington County's Germantown is just walking across the street. It's not like driving from City Hall in downtown Milwaukee to West Bend. And they can say, said Showman, and they can save money by doing so. I warmly welcome all of our Milwaukee County neighbors to Washington County to shop, dine, and keep more of your money while doing it. I was and will continue to be a supporter of shared revenue without raising taxes. But Johnson said the increased sales tax helps many others. When people come to the city and have a medical emergency, now folks will contribute with the increased sales tax, and that's good. Okay, so if you come to the city of Milwaukee and are not a resident, have a medical emergency, the residents have to pay for your medical treatment, and that's a good thing.
Oh dear. Thank you, Cubbers SC7 in the chat for saying Scrump was the funniest guy in the Cyberpunk campaign. God, that was nearly 10 years ago now.
Oh my god.
That was a long ass time ago. We are all very old. But it reminds me of like the $15 an hour minimum wage in certain ways. Mm-hmm. It's very much like almost like a virtue signal policy, but like a middle class one, an upper middle class one, really. It's also a little bit, it's like a South Park episode almost. This is so crass and unfiltered in terms of bad PR that it almost feels like a storyline. They're coming across like a cartoon character. It does. It's a bit odd, really.
It's like, you don't like that we're going to charge you an exorbitant sales tax that make everything more expensive? Well, then have your Cracker Barrel, peasant. It's so disconnected from reality because they're disconnected from reality. These people, the Democrats just have no idea what average people want at all. And they have not even that. They have disdain for average people. If you're not part of their metropolitan elite class, they don't care about you.
How's that democracy working out for you?
Well, they don't care because they have voter blocks that will vote for them no matter what. And in fact,
I would like to return to the rule of a despotic despot.
Considering I just finished reading all of Claudine Gay's research, which I'll talk about her briefly in a second. Claudine Gay was the former president of Harvard who got ousted for plagiarism.
Oh, sorry. I can't hear the word gay and not think it's a joke.
I know.
President Gay, that's actually their name.
Yeah. So I read all of her 11 published papers and her one published book, which was mostly a summary of her published papers.
And did that take you like 15 minutes?
Hell no. No, it took me a couple days because I read them seriously.
I think you're the only person who ever did.
Exactly, probably. But they weren't terrible. And they're not terrible because she plagiarized. That's why. But there were some interesting points that she brought up.
Of course, it's not her writing.
That's actually an interesting finding. It's not even her data. She didn't collect the data. She used a national election survey and publicly available survey data. She didn't even collect it herself. She's never done an independent study.
Wow.
Are you surprised by that? A black person who steals?
The president of Harvard, everybody.
You're allowed to do it. Of course, you're allowed to use national surveying data and stuff. But
it was to plagiarize.
Not allowed to do that, even though they sure are arguing. They've been arguing for weeks now that actually it was okay because plagiarism's fine when we do it. Literally, that's been the argument. It's fine because she's a black woman, so it's okay if she steals. However,
I did something kind of stupid.
What'd you do?
Okay, so the way this server is set up and the OBS. I actually played like a minute of copyright music by accident.
Oh no! Fuck, dude. How?
Because so you know the way that if we watch something on the browser, like a watch together, that's piped through audio output 2, and one.
So there was just music playing for like a minute.
Yes, and I realized like, why is this thing? Because the way that I set it up, this is only supposed to play an audio output one,
my
not
God.
two. And then people said they could hear it, and I went, why? And for you guys were talking,
We have had a hell of a lot of technical issues.
I went through my comments.
Oh, well.
I went through all my settings. I'm like, why can't the chat hear that? And then I just looked at the browser is enabled and the browser is playing through output one. That's the reason why you can hear it.
No, were you listening? You were listening to music basically, and it got piped through.
Yeah.
God damn it!
I was wondering, like, why is the
Excellent
chat?
work.
Why is the chat saying audio slave is based? I'm like, it is, but why can you? Oh shit!
Gonna have to cut out like that whole couple
When
minutes or
Audio
whatever.
Slave was the rage. Yeah, fucking Audio Slave.
Oh my God!
I haven't thought of Audio Slave in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
was
it's
playing
great.
Cochise. And by the way, press 1 if you like the song Cochise in chat. You're gonna see a whole bunch of ones with it because
Yeah.
Cochise is a great.
But what I
song.
was going to say about her research is one of the things that she found is that
There you go.
she collected,
Thanks,
and then
Scrump.
this is an actually like interesting finding, right? That was one of the things I was most fascinated by is that her research is bad because it's stolen. But the findings, it's funny because her hypotheses are always wrong because she's never read anything else. I think she just copies and pastes, so she doesn't know how to form a hypothesis that would be based on the research because she just copies shit. However, interesting finding was that she looked at Black Democrats and their opinions on different things in terms of a policy. So, like, were they in favor of abortion? Were they opposed to abortion?
no.
Were they religious? And found that it did not matter any policy positions that blacks held. They always just voted Democrat. And that's why these people don't have to care. They know that they have for example, a voting bloc, a big one in Milwaukee here, that will vote for him. They'll vote for this guy, Cavalier Johnson, no matter what, over and over again, no matter how much he actually opposes the things that they believe in and hold as serious political concerns, as long as they have a D next to their name. She did not find that in the white or Hispanic samples. It was just in African Americans. So, I mean, if you want to know, like, again, like I said, Claudine Gay, hack, fraud,
basically,
but
blacks are
what an interesting finding. They just vote for Democrats, basically, no matter what. And I loved watching her trying to spin her wheels in the conclusion section of trying to explain why that's the case and why it's actually a good thing.
By the way, it's funny you mentioned that because I was reading a report about why no scandals that the ANC does in South Africa will sway the voting base because it's literally just, but I'm a white man.
But what? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this thinking, if anyone wants to know why I became a monarchist, it's because of shit like this. It's because I do not trust the native population to have any fucking brains because they don't.
Well,
and people can say that.
I have such an amazing clip for you from
Africa.
You know what? I was trying to hold off on this. Sorry, continue, Scrump. Because I have a clip. I can't hold off. I'm too giddy about this to show it to Spoon. Go ahead.
I was going to say, but while you're queuing it up, Africa's all like that. Africa's a great worked example as to why you can't have democracy in societies that have, say, traditional links in them, like tribe, because every single African country, you'll have one candidate who is voted for by, like, the major tribe, another candidate who's voted for by, like, two minor tribes, and the candidates, depending on whatever the population of those tribes is, take turns in trying to genocide the other tribes because that means they'll get more votes.
Yes.
South Africa is just a kind of a slightly more, I guess, upscaled version of that, in that you have people who are a voting bloc who will vote whichever way, no matter what.
Yes.
And that is true in all places that don't have, like, the weird deracinated political systems that we do in the West now.
Yes.
That have been ultra modernized to the point that people do actually believe in the process. If you look anywhere, people just vote along, like, ethnic or cultural or religious lines, and that's it.
Yep. The religious one in the United States was the weakest one in that study. That was the weakest one, but it was mostly it was race, and for women it was gender, and that was it. I mean,
you know what's interesting about that though, Scrump, is I think I may have spoken to you about this a while ago. A friend of my family, she sent me a clip. I actually didn't know it was who sent this, and she sent it on my mother. My mother sent it on to me, and it was this black lady who was sitting in a car in South Africa who literally just straight up said, give power back to the white people because black people don't know how to rule, they cannot govern.
We watched that clip on stream, didn't we?
Did you?
Yeah, just straight up said this. And I had a conversation with a bunch of Americans about this. I said to them, leave your prejudice at the door, go to the countries where the people are saying this and ask them why do they feel this way. They flat out refused. They cannot conceptualize that a different race other than their own can rule better than them. They cannot understand that. And I'm looking at Africa and I'm looking at Europe. I'm like, there is no way in fucking hell you can tell me with a straight face that the people who were using leather shields by the 1800s still can run a modern civilization. That is just not reality. Regardless of whatever the hell you feel about race relations and race realism and all that dumb shit. If you just look at this objectively, like Harry said this on the Lotus Eaters a while ago, he said this yesterday, I think Africa yearns for recolonization because the fact of the matter is only Europeans can run a modern civilization state. That is just fact.
I mean, Asians
do you remember
can.
that? But remember that. Yeah, speaking of Asians, do you remember that clip you sent me from Empires of Dust?
Yeah.
Where
the famous clip.
Yeah, where Chang
Also
talks to
times.
Eddie and literally just says, "You didn't learn from the Europeans. When they left for you, you just tore the place up." Like it is not in the African mindset to learn how to develop. They don't know how. And I spoke to Scrump at length about this one day. You can't teach these people how to advance. They just don't understand why they need to. They need someone else to hold power.
What was this clip you were going to play? Because you've been giddy about it. It's been sat there for a while with just the woman in a terrible freeze frame. So
right,
look at it.
Sorry, because it was so related to what just I was flabbergasted.
I like the way Scrump is trying to save us from getting into too much trouble.
But it's related to what you just said.
James Hurley in the chat, I see you. You don't need to spam. We'll be addressing that when we talk about the other Twitter stuff, so don't worry.
James always has like a million questions. He's
He's asking the same question over and over again. We'll answer that when we talk about the song on James Lindsay stuff. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll get to that after this. But I really had to. Because you said that they're too stupid to vote. Just take a look at this.
So I think that, but the point I would say here is that I actually.
Well, I should probably be watching the stream, shouldn't I?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm on.
Okay, cool. She hasn't gotten to the. We haven't got to the interesting part yet.
Newsom and David Axelrod. These are Democrats, leading Democrats, that say this would really cause a division that's almost insurmountable. And as someone that believes January 6th was that bad, wait one second.
So what are you saying?
Wait, just 1 second. I don't think the Supreme Court's going to hold this. I think they're going to overturn it, and it won't just be the originalists. I bet it's a 9-0 vote. I actually don't think they will hold this.
So you think they should leave it to the voters or not?
I think they should leave it to the voters, but I think the division this will cause, because what will
elitism.
happen is that martyrdom.
It's about removing Trump from the ballot. That's the conversation. She's saying, I don't know her name, honestly. She's saying leave it to the voters, not to the Supreme Court.
She's very attractive, but then she talks.
Yeah, well...
that doesn't believe in democracy, doesn't believe in the voting. Everyone that loses says it was rigged and failed. I think this will create a visual to people that this was a rigged election.
I don't agree.
It was.
I think that the law will stand and people should
No,
follow
won't.
the law.
If that is the law, the Supreme Court
if you're not going to
does.
follow an amendment, then why don't we have Taylor Swift
But I take
run
it
for
different. I don't think it's as clear.
Why not? Why can't Taylor... I mean, is she 40... Should be 45? Yeah, it's 35. I always get that number screwed up. Why can't Taylor Swift run for president?
I
But
did,
anyway,
Kevin. I reposted it on Twitter.
Very conflicted on this as a conservative because I tend to.
You're not a conservative, but okay.
I worry about two things. When we look at the law, you think of the precedent that.
Can you pause for a second?
To say that this ends
Yeah.
I saw this woman on MSNBC, and she spoke about Trump.
Yeah.
In the interview with MSNBC, and then 3 years before, under the Trump administration, she was kissing Trump's ass. I'm like, you fucking sellout bitch.
Yeah.
When you're in the regime, you peddle the line and you say whatever the hell you need to. But when you're out of the regime and it's more in favor of you, you just say whatever shit to sell your points. I can't stand how fake you fuckers are.
I might have a slightly different take here in that whoever the blonde woman is seems to be trying. I don't know if she knows what's going on or not. Maybe she does.
They don't.
But she seems to be talking about the fact that, well, it's probably going to happen. She's right. Then this could be a 9-0 decision. I believe
it very likely will be. Yeah.
It very well.
This is a very embarrassing situation for, I guess, the US lower courts and these weird activists. I also think that really, since Biden's the candidate, I honestly think, despite a lot of the public protestations, everyone's making plans for there being a second Trump administration, because I believe it will also be better for the Democrat Party.
That's why they're freaking out about J6 right now. I think that's where they're bringing that back up and going crazy about it, because, like you said, I think it is getting the last drop of blood from that stone.
Yeah, I think that was a really good analysis. I agree with that too.
Man, though. Hang on.
Donald Trump becomes, if he becomes president about this time next year,
unless I missed
he could weaponize
hold on a second.
To keep
How are you a conservative and saying, God forbid he becomes president?
I say this. Did I
you bitch, you served in his administration and you were kissing his ass while you were serving, and now you're saying, God forbid he becomes a conservative. What the? I hate the wheeziness of these fucking again. They're fucking women.
It's because she's playing musical chairs, is what she's doing. I think it's a really good sign that a lot of these people don't believe anything they say. They speak largely off a script or a teleprompter.
Oh, absolutely.
And when they're pressed into a different role, they adopt a different set of ideas and even a different persona and mannerisms sometimes. You see it with a lot of people who go from being like really generic kind of media people or writers for The Guardian who end up on somewhere even like GB News. Or they leave somewhere like that and end up on somewhere like The Guardian. You have these complete about faces. I think all of these public-facing officials are completely interchangeable, depending if they're on The View and the cabinet or wherever they are. It doesn't make a difference. All they do is adapt to whatever role they're in. They're not faceless bureaucrats, but they're just empty faces. They're chameleons. For you.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that, but what I don't like about that is it makes it very difficult for regular people to basically take them at face value, because they basically are just, as you said, they're just basically chameleons for the role. And I don't like it when regular people are suckered in, because like you said, like the people who take The View seriously are basically wine moms who have nothing to do during the middle of the day. And they want to feel like they're informed when they're obviously fucking not, but that's the reality of the situation. And I just can't stand people who have the capacity to manipulate public opinion when they themselves don't have any genuine positions themselves. They're literally just, like, as you say, they adopt a position what is best for their career.
Well, that was the clip. I didn't know she went off more, but like that was the clip with Joy Behar, where, just to reiterate what she said. This woman's name is Haynes, the blonde lady. She says, I don't think the Supreme Court, she says, I agree with Gavin Newsom, David Axelrod, these
would
Democrats.
Smash but need chef's pleasure bag.
That say, would really cause a division. It's almost insurmountable. It will cause division. They know it's going to cause division. Behar asks, what are you saying? Haynes continues, I don't think the Supreme Court's going to hold to this.
They won't.
She's right. Yep. I think it could be a 9-0 vote. So do you think they should leave it to the voters? Behar asked. I think they should leave it to the voters. Oh, no, Behar responded. And that's, don't leave it to the voters. So, I mean, that's the key of what this is. We have a nation that doesn't believe in democracy, that doesn't believe in voting. Haynes said, everyone that loses says it was rigged and failed. I think this will create a visual to people that this was a rigged election. Behar disagreed, saying that she believed the law will stand. So, I mean, that was the main key of this, though, is that Behar's just immediately, it's like, leave it to the voters. Remember, these people are always going on and on about our democracy, my votes. Don't leave it to the voters, though, on this.
Oligarchical rule.
Don't leave it to the voters on this. So let's talk about the James Lindsay stuff, which I'm going to have to walk on eggshells over.
Have we talked about the story out of Spain yet? Just as you mentioned, democracy. Have you not seen this, Aiden?
I apparently have not. I may have, but
I've not seen what coming out of Spain. I've seen Poland, not just because of your meme, though, Scrump.
Oh, sorry. That's going to be. Let me see if I can find it. I'll put it.
That was a really good header, by the way. That's fantastic.
That'll be done probably tomorrow. But sorry, I'm trying to find the article here. See, there we go. Here's probably something as a lead in. I'll put it in the Discord chat there. But you guys must have seen that, right?
Let me see.
Oh my god, I did not see this. Oh wow.
It's real, by the way.
I'm real. Sure it is. Mar Galceran
but the people
history as Spain's first parliamentarian with Down syndrome.
They've done it, guys. They've done it. It's finally here. The first Down syndrome MP. They've broken the extra chromosome ceiling.
I mean, you can't make it up.
Because democracy basically means...
That's the one.
Gotta
That's the
post
one.
him. Of course.
But what if?
Keep playing
What
it.
if? I know. He just talked really slow.
government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
I can't believe it. Down bad.
He's down bad.
What were all the... I got so many puns here. Let me see if I can find some more of them. Truly, it's
you know what this
only
reminds-
down from here. It's all downhill from here. It's all downs from here.
Speaking of Down syndrome,
Hold on a second before you continue. You know what this reminds me of? There's a quote by H.L. Mencken that says, "As democracy is perfected, the office of the president represents more and more closely the inner soul of the people. On some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be occupied by a downright fool and a complete narcissistic moron." When I see just what Scrump just tweeted, I'm like, oh my fucking god, that was written in 1920.
Yep. H.L. Mencken continues being correct.
Dude,
So-
H.L. Mencken was so ahead of its time, it's not even funny.
Still, people still believe that like elected officials have any level of power or control, and they've put
It's
a
insane
down
to me how people
I know.
fucking believe.
person. I mean, I've heard of small towns in America electing a cat or a dog as the mayor, but that's just
Yeah.
sweet, and there's like 30 people in the town.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
fine.
different.
Because it's just like, because they've still got
Yeah.
like a little tiny
Like
town
a local
council, and they're just
representative, yeah.
Yeah, and like we'll got this town mascot essentially. Yeah, this dog or cat. I've seen that stuff too.
I did read. I don't know if it was one of Scrump's articles, or maybe it was Academic Agents, where they just said, as soon as
Here we
the
go.
as soon as the election becomes sort of nationwide, then it starts to lose any kind of appeal to the people, and it needs to start becoming more erratic and
book.
frankly
Oh, okay.
insane. Yeah.
I felt that I had read some of this. Is it bad? End of page 239. Here's the thing. I own this book on Amazon. I just haven't. I don't think I've actually finished it. 239.
You just punched it in the
pages
The
top.
very end of it, the principled
Oh, there it is.
opposition. This is in James Lindsay's book, by the way. His name is on this book, and this is his idea of what principled opposition to woke looks like. If I may read some of this to you,
Absolutely.
Please go on.
to put James Lindsay in context, I've done
Because we're gonna
this.
get into this now. Yeah.
This will be my third time reading this. Okay, principled opposition. Example 1, and he's saying this unironically. Him and his female co-author here, whatever her name is.
Helen Pluckrose, right?
Yeah. But this is his idea of
I quite like Helen as well.
of the liberal position and where we should be. We affirm in these. When I say it loudly, these are in bold. We affirm that racism remains a problem in society and that it needs to be addressed.
Okay, instantly I'm out already. Instantly, just by that statement, I'm out. I'm like, no.
You can't address. Okay, racism remains. I don't know if it's a problem, but it remains a thing in society. It always will for forever because people judge instantaneously based on looks. That you cannot undo human, neuropsychology. And evolutionary psychology. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but
he's saying that he also says that we deny that racism is hard baked into society via discourses, that it's unavoidable and present in every interaction.
But it is.
And to be discovered and called out, and that this is part of a ubiquitous, systematic approach that is everywhere, always, and all pervasive. And he says, we contend that every individual can choose not to hold racist views and should be expected to do so, that racism is declining over time and becoming rarer, and that we can and should see one another as humans first and members of certain races second.
Hold on
and
a
the
sec.
issue of race are at best dealt with by being honest about racialized experiences while still working towards shared goals and a common vision. And the principle of not discriminating by race should be universally upheld.
This sounds like globalism light.
It's abject surrender. It is simply moving the left a small notch back towards the 1990s.
That's what we keep facing over and over again. You know, that all three of us have talked about repeatedly, is that if just going back in time to this sort of colorblind 90s will inevitably lead to the exact same position that we find ourselves in now.
Yes. I spoke to Scrump about this as well.
Going back in time, and not it's if you have a time machine, but you can't affect the time stream, and just turning back the clock. How can you? It is the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah, you basically want to go back to the 90s, but you don't want the pendulum to keep swinging. And they have no solution as to how to make it stop swinging. So it's like you basically just have a hard-on for a nostalgic period. That's it.
It's called anemoia. Well, no, anemoia is a time for which you never experienced. But yeah, it's nostalgia. You and I, Spoon, you and I have anemoia.
They all start like this. Principled opposition, example 2. We affirm that sexism remains a problem in society and needs to be addressed. Principled opposition, example 3. We affirm that discrimination and bigotry against sexual minorities remains a problem in society and requires addressing.
What is a sexual minority? Women are the majority of the population.
Oh no,
so men?
He's talking about homosexuals and trans people there.
Fuck off.
We affirm the last one is the one that gets me. Principled opposition, example 4. If you go down to it's example 4 there. We affirm that social injustice still exists and that scholarship on issues of social justice is necessary and important. We affirm the value of interdisciplinary theoretical approaches, including the study of race, gender, sexuality, culture, and identity within humanities. Actually, that's one of the only I don't have that much problem with. That one's okay. But we affirm that many of the ideas generated by the rarefied postmodernism of social justice scholarship, including the basic idea of intersectionality, that unique injustices can be intersected identities that require special consideration, are insightful and worthy of submission to the marketplace of ideas for evaluation, adoption, further study, refinement, and potentially eventual application.
Is this the shit that he believes?
This is this is in his book. He published a book with this in. We did a video about
how does this not just sound like leftism light?
It is.
The thing is, this is why I always like wanting to grab people, shake them, and be like, "Why are you telling me to listen to James Lindsay? James Lindsay is a fucking idiot. I read his book, and it is abject surrender." And no, it seems that no one else read this part because you read it and you go, "What the fuck? This is just surrendering. This is him and fucking Helen." Face or whatever. Yeah. Just holding their hands up and go, oh, yes, oh, well, we can't actually just kick all the SJWs out of academia. And, well, the marketplace of ideas, and we affirm that sexism's real and racism's real and anti-LGBT is real and these are problems. It's just like, well, what are you then? They literally just want the little bit of wokeness crossed out at the end of it, and they just want everything.
I mean, that's tell that. I've not read this part of this book. I did start it, but I didn't finish it. Obviously,
it seems I'm the only one who did.
Yeah,
every
apparently.
time I show this to people who like James, they're like, "Oh wow, that doesn't sound like him." Maybe someone else wrote it.
First of all, the entire framing of this is, I'm going to call it theological.
Yes.
The we affirm, we deny, we contend. This kind of stuff it comes off as religious a little bit to me.
Have you ever seen the affirmations that socialists do? It's very have nothing. Yeah.
Yes. The affirmations, which is also in and of itself religious, and we
have nothing to lose but Archie.
Oh, God.
It's interesting because Dr. Lindsay is so very anti-communist.
Spoken by Joe Biden.
Yeah, he's so very anti-communist in everything he says, but this does come off as very similar to that in terms of the chant kind of thing, and also in terms of it's the same problem that you find with a lot of, I think, people who are dedicated to liberalism as an idea, is that it is considered kind of like I think that they do kind of venerate it in a way that is not helpful. I think Sargon used to do this. He's gotten better about it, as we're going to see as we go through this.
But
Twitter.
He still needs to go further.
At least Sargon can admit it to himself. You know what I mean?
Sometimes.
Like, he does in this
I
Twitter
agree
spat,
sometimes.
which is
See you in
which is
2 years, Sargon.
right. Yeah.
See you in 2 years.
This is something that I have noticed through my own research, and I saw Andrew Wilson actually. He did this in one of the podcasts. He does something that I call consequence mapping, that very, very few people will do, which is just to look at the current paradigm and go, where did it go wrong? And then you start like pinpointing where did things start kind of fucking up. And the dangerous thing is that if you do this, you'll start like twiddle knobs and go, and you start to like turn things back. And then, there's no nice way to sugarcoat this. You'll start to the point where you realize segregation actually had a point. Mm-hmm. And people will go, like, I can say this from a South African in my own country. You think segregation is a political argument? And it is. But if you look at it outside of politics, no, you realize it actually had a defensive function of preserving culture and the civilization. Like, because I said this to Scrump, and I said this in one of my videos as well. What's the difference between segregation and nation-state borders, if not scale?
Of course, it's scale.
It's the same thing.
Well, there's the...
Yeah, but it is scale is the difference. By the way, Zero Fucks says this is that in their press tour talking about this book as well.
Yeah,
that,
Mike is right.
That James and Helen said that they wrote different chapters of the book. So this very well could have been written by Helen and not by James.
But he still endorsed it.
If somebody put a passage in a book that I was collaborating on that said that, I would take my name off it. That is uniquely embarrassing.
Yeah, I agree.
I felt bad for Helen. She's gone through some rough stuff, but like. People
so is James Lindsay if he keeps reading this shit.
I was going to say, yeah, James Lindsay's going to go through some rough stuff if he keeps writing this shit.
I don't know. I've always liked the lot of them ever since the Sokol Squared affair.
Aiden, I really like you, but I really wish you would separate your emotions from rationality.
Yeah, I'm a woman. It's difficult.
If there's one thing that being Scrump could do to you, it's just to like make you more male.
You're gonna trans me.
No.
You're not beating the allegations now, Scrump.
Oh no! I was never beating those allegations.
I know.
No, it's more just like take your ovaries and just like we're not gonna like disable them, but just turn them down, but like 35%.
This is bad though. This is really really bad.
That's not a good look. No.
I've been talking about this passage in particular since about 2020. Honestly, I've been trying to go around. I don't want to say bad mouthing James Lindsay, but there's so many examples, and once you understand that this is what James Lindsay actually believes, then a lot of what he says makes a lot more sense.
I think it's just that he just wants to go back to this 1990s era of where we were.
Scrum, how much of that is people who are just like...
We're going to just accept everybody. It's rainbows and kittens and stuff. It was never going to stay that way.
There's a whole cohort, as we'll get to, there's a whole cohort of people who believe that, though, who believe, as you're saying, I know you're going to ask me about that, spoon about Return to Fresh Prince and all that.
Yes. It's extremely popular with a lot of content creators, and I don't know why. And you said to me it's nostalgic for when they were younger.
Yes,
a lot of it is, yes,
and it's comfy. It was that was
less responsibility.
The time in which you grew up, of course, and yes, and things were better then, but they were inevitably destined to end up this way. And if you could go back,
1995, like boomers think of 1955.
Yes, and if you could go back, however. This why you have to give me a reason as to things would be different. Let's in a complete hypothetical where we could turn back time and just completely go back to the 1990s, just reset culture.
I have an idea what we could do.
1991. Yeah.
We could be more racist against Arabs and prevent 9/11.
Okay, but that's not going to be part of their paradigm, though. It's just return. It is just return, but not like return to monarchy as you and I've advocated, but instead it's to a different system of government. It's let's just go back to like 30 years ago. You can't do that. I mean, it's not feasible. It's not how any of this works.
Yeah, it's the good point made by Aaron here, Aaron McIntyre, to get us a little bit back more back on track. Which is the point that, yes, civil rights legislation does literally make hiring candidates based on merit. Merit, for those out there who enjoy the merit meme, nobody has ever been hired on merit. I'm sorry.
Not entirely, no.
No, not entirely. It is kind of a myth. But the idea that you can prioritize what you feel is the best candidate by whatever factors, you might just like the cut of their jib. You might like their haircut. You know what?
Yeah.
That's fine. Gut instinct is as good a way to hire someone as possible as any.
But civil rights law has made it essentially illegal. If you say, did just want to hire on pure merit, you can't. You have to. I've talked about this a couple of times. I worked for about a year at a architecture engineering firm, and what my job was to write proposals to government agencies and companies that wanted to engage in some big architectural engineering project. And what that includes is writing the resumes of everybody who works for the firms, because you want to tailor this, you make this giant book essentially where you're selling your firm and say, hire us, hire our firm and give us your $1 billion contract, right? And what I found over and over again is that there were these, this is back in 2013, 2013, something like that. Even back then, it was, well, here's all the requirements. We have to have this many architects of color, this many female architects, this many female engineers, this many engineers of color. And we have to also outsource work to another AE firm that says, like, mostly, and just with my experience, the firms that we would outsource to that are majority black owned or whatever, or black owned businesses or women owned businesses or companies to also work on the project, which were not part of our firm because that was also important for being part of this DEI stuff. And what jobs did the women in black owned firms always do?
Yeah.
Interior design. Interior design and environmental engineering. At most environmental engineering, but usually interior design.
Environmental engineering. I have some stories about that too from private industry as well. I've had the opposite experience in that I've worked at a lot of mid-sized companies that avoid this stuff like the plague because it would kill them as a company. I tend to work for very lean, relatively small engineering companies who do the kind of work that isn't glamorous, so it doesn't get the eye of Sauron.
Right, because this company I was working for was like one of the biggest AE firms in the country, and so so they had to, and so when I put together these giant books, for bids for projects, it was just have to take all of this shit into consideration, and it has basically made it illegal because the U.S. government has put, and particularly if you're doing U.S. government contracting, they have made it illegal they will not hire you. It is illegal. It is by all
the same in the UK.
Intents and purposes illegal to do anything unless you have a bunch of black women, black and or brown and or women and or people of other sort of disability or whatever working on the project. You can't do it. And it's pointless.
You have to prove that at least the company that you are and all the companies that you subcontract to, and then all the companies that they subcontract to, all have a workforce that is quote unquote representative of the whole population. But all that means is they have a minimum level of brown people, and if it's above that, that's great, that's fine, that's more diverse. But it's the entire supply chain, and it is absolutely crippling. It's crippling here in the UK for certain government work, and it's why people like BT, people like Aviva, have to performatively fire white people. It's because they subsist largely on interfacing with the UK government. And the Equality Act and many of the equality provisions in it and many of the tendering processes that the UK government and, as you point out, the US government use are identical in that they all have racial quotas all the way down the supply chain. And quite frankly, a large amount of nimble, talented businesses will simply say no to any of those contracts. And you will be either scratching around for some sort of mega conglomerate who'll likely mishandle it and charge you too much, or a company that is staffed by people who aren't qualified. And that's why all the infrastructure is falling out of the sky.
So that's
happening in South Africa as well, by the way. It's the only country in the world
yeah,
that
it
I know
happens
of
everywhere.
that needs the majority with affirmative action to employ. And the entire country is falling apart. Like, if you ever ask me, like, why do I have my pins on race that I do, it's because I can see with my own fucking eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to change
but
it, by the way.
I'm
It's
sorry.
safe, no, Aiden. Quick, read it.
Right, no, I'm trying to find it. Is that this is the tweet from Warren McIntyre that sparked this whole fucking thing.
He's right, by the
which
way.
is that DEI isn't some crazy form of communism, though its proponents are often neo-Marxists. DEI is the natural evolution of civil rights law,
True.
and why it was able to take hold so easily. And until you are willing to unwind that Leviathan, this is the world you will live in. Yeah. So this is the tweet.
I agree with that.
But he's right.
I agree with that. But the problem is, once you go, it's like the same thing. If you go forward, what makes you stop? If you go backwards, what makes you stop going backwards? Because you can't just go like James Lindsay will go, I'm going to stop at defending gay rights because I want to keep that from my ideological position.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, that's not how the real world works, dude. You can't stop the Leviathan. You have to keep moving forward, or you have to keep moving backwards. And if you keep going backwards, you're going to realize segregation served the function.
Yeah, Lindsay.
And if you look at it right now, you can't tell me that segregation didn't serve a function. Nobody wants to say it because
we get it, Spoon. We get it, Spoon. You like segregation.
No, it's not that.
So
I could do Scrum. I could go further and say democracy was shit too.
Well, we agree on
like
that.
French Revolution is the next bit I'm going.
Well, we all agree on that.
So Dr. Lindsay retweeted this, which is nope. DEI isn't because Tim Pool retweeted just saying yup to the Warren McIntyre
He's right,
post. Yeah, DEI isn't some crazy form of communism. It is a faithful replication of the 1920s, 30s Bolshevik racial policy. It is exactly how the socialists began the state in the first place, period. Receipts are in no short supply. The post below by Warren McIntyre is lazy right-tardism. But that's...
You're agreeing with the statement.
You're agreeing with the statement. This is why I'm so confused. This is why Twitter drives me nuts.
You're agreeing with the whole statement. What I'm confused as to why you call the first
racial policy.
The first 80% is agreeing with them, and then the last one is like, why are you taking shots at the guy?
So you agree with what he said, in terms of what you actually said, agrees with what Oren was saying, unless you're so divorced. This is what happens. People don't actually read shit on Twitter. They just make stuff up in their fucking heads. It's what they think the other person meant. This happens all the time.
No, but he's right about that part.
90% of Twitter is people making up a guy and then getting steaming mad that guy exists.
Yeah. So then this is Dr. Lindsay's response, which he just says, big nope. Oren is either a right-tard or an asset. Why not both?
Do you know what this reminds me of? Okay, so Scrum, tell me if you agree with this. There was a tweet that I saw on Twitter, and I really like this. It said something like, you either don't reveal your power level and get called controlled opposition, or you do and get called a Fed.
Yeah.
That's fucking brilliant.
No one ever called me a Fed.
I think it's because people are scared of you.
I don't know if they're scared, but I mean, yeah, I don't get called a Fed.
No, I know.
If you don't act like a Fed, you won't get called a Fed.
No, I legit have people who are scared of Trump, of Scrump, because they think his position is too extreme. And I think it's because I think it's because they don't either know him because Scrump's position is far above their IQ. I think that's that, or that's just objectively true.
It's like Rick and Morty. No,
it's just like my favorite cartoon.
The problem is, before we get into this too far, and I'll add a little bit here, is that we were talking about the kind of return to Fresh Prince, the 90s thing. It's a mindset issue. What happens is, when it's returned to Fresh Prince, when millennials want to return to the 90s, they want to return to the point where they were first sentient and first have memories.
Yeah,
and because,
they're familiar with it.
If they were to see this in a Spenglerian way and say, yes, I yearn for the 90s because we are in the decline.
Yeah.
The earliest things I remember are at a point of less decline, and now we are at a point of more decline. And that's really what's happening. But if you say that to those people, they'll just look at you and go, no, the 90s were the high point. They were perfect because I was born in them and I remember them. And it's just like, well...
And of course, they can't recall a time before they were born. So they can't imagine any point before that. I mean, I think if you're
because they weren't born, so yeah.
Right. But I think you can imagine a time before you were born, but you can't obviously know it. So it's just trying to go back to that time where you felt comfortable, where you felt happy, where there wasn't so much political
Childlike.
animus, or even if there, yes. And unfortunately, I think there was political animus in the 90s. It was just at a lower point than it is now.
There's a lot of
this is the inevitable outcome of all of the Bill Clinton era policies. And he's like, we're just talking about the 90s. He is just one manifestation of it. All of that shit goes all the way back to the founding of the Fed. Like that's when shit went really downhill. And that's when things,
I would say.
yeah, sure. That's when it became, I think, kind of unsalvageable. But maybe it could have been salvaged, but unless you
it's
get
just
rid
a
of the
funny
Fed.
point that all of these people think as they do because they live in the decline. They feel it. They feel the decline. And yet they are not willing to acknowledge the decline. They're not willing to acknowledge the decline exists. They aren't willing to acknowledge things like more cyclical versions of history, because their idea is history's a straight line. Things rose and rose and rose and rose and rose until they got to the 90s. They stabilized out a bit because Francis Fukuyama told them history ended. And then they went down because woke happened. And we need to keep going up. We need to keep ascending. And that is the inside of their brains. That is their worldview. If you look at what they say, that is actually what they think. So
I'm going to hit all the super chats at the end, but I do want to hit this one real quick, or not at the end of the stream, but after maybe we get through like a significant segment here. But Analog Mind for 10 says, in regards to recent Twitter spats, I think the problem is that neither Carl nor you guys understand each other's current positions. Carl is not post-liberal who believes liberalism is a social asset. No, we do understand that.
No, we understand his position fairly well because he's fairly open about it.
Yeah, and I'm going to get to that here in a second. So don't worry, Analog Mind. I think we do mostly understand Carl's position. I mean, I can't be solipsistic. Dacia told me to stop using that word, but I'm going to keep using it.
Never listen to Destiny.
So he says Dr. Lindsay says big nope about the Tim Pool Warren McIntyre retweet. This guy says he's big wrong on this one. It's 100% communism, 100%. Carl then says communism isn't separate from liberalism, though. Correct.
He's beginning to believe.
He's beginning. He's seen through it. Yeah,
it's gonna happen. To be fair, I have seen. I will say I am good in terms of a lot of people at Low Seaters. Shout out to Harry. Shout out to a few more people as well over there.
Harry went hard against Dr. Lindsay too.
Harry's a good cunt. As you can.
He's a monarchist, man. So
as we would say, but it's true. The problem is as well that Lindsay doesn't understand the framing that is emerging, which is the framing of the mass society. He doesn't understand really that Sam Francis has won. Is what he doesn't understand.
I don't think he even knows who Sam Francis even is.
I don't know if it's that he doesn't understand. Because Dr. Lindsay is a very intelligent man. I think that he's. No, I'll stand by that.
Do you affirm that Dr. Lindsay is a
I affirm that Dr. Lindsay is a smart guy. I think that, and Carl, this gets brought up later, is that Carl says, like, I don't know as much about maths as you do, but I think I know a lot about liberalism. I think I know more about liberalism than you do. So Lindsay responds to Carl by saying, that's your opinion, and it is uninformed. He also then
I just don't like his fucking ego.
I hate the way Twitter works. Yeah, the ego thing is difficult to...
Like, here's the thing.
Your opinion sucks, LOL. Individual liberty versus collectivism by state edict.
Individual liberty means fuck all to me, because where's the stopgap to that?
I pointed this tweet out to you as well, though, earlier, Spoon. Sargon does suck. He's a right-leaning socialist?
Yeah, that's just dumb.
I don't know what the fuck. You were talking about people saying that I was like advocating genocide, and I think there's a lot of people who simply
they just say things.
They come
they use words they don't understand.
These insane non sequiturs. I very rarely get any criticism that actually engages
the arguments,
with the content of especially the content of my work. Yeah. I'll mostly get people coming in and just having non sequiturs like this. It's
always
very common.
Something that makes no sense. So he said, it seems to be correct, talking about Orrin McIntyre. He says, to whom simpletons, says Lindsay, to people who understand the genealogy and purpose of these philosophies. LOL, okay.
Again, the ego is just...
There's another tweet here that was weird. I found weird. which was the right will at some point become a far bigger problem than the left, which is itself an existential problem. I don't know how. It's already happening. It's already a problem.
He has a throbbing
Problem
hate
to
boner
what?
for Christianity.
That's what it is. Well, okay, so
He's a secular humanist.
about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, he said something like that. He posted something on Twitter about how, like, yeah, the Christian conservatism is evil and antithetical to to Western society. And I said, well, Dr. Lindsay, respectfully, I think that Western society is based on Christianity. And then he said, I don't give a fuck what you think back to me. And it was like, okay, it was the same thing where it was like, I even said, like, I think I respectfully disagree, but he got really hostile like this.
The problem is, Aidan, that I can see the future.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, nearly now, I did a stream with my co-host Evelyn called "The Virtues of Gatekeeping," in which we tried to introduce the idea, and we elaborate on it in a stream that's called anti-woke and a post-woke world, which is what this is. James Lindsay is a great example of what anti-woke looks like in a post-woke world. And once that cloak is off, once that idea that unites all of these disparate people falls away, you realize that James Lindsay is just a liberal atheist who is a 90s Democrat politically. And that is
absolutely.
No matter how intelligent he is, no matter how nice a person he is, kind of intellectually,
he's stuck in a frame.
He is. That's all he is. He is a liberal atheist 90s Democrat with a very large ego who doesn't want the left to go any further than Clinton kind of super predators era. I mean, to be fair, there was a bit of a cultural conservative bent to the Clinton administration, but still,
sure,
that's an outgrowth of this. And the thing is, this was very obvious a long time ago. Again, having read the book, it was very obvious to me a long time ago. But this is why I think that having people like James Lindsay, Jordan Peterson, even to an extent, people like Sargon, in what is supposed to be a quote-unquote right-wing movement is unthinkable. It's unfathomable, and it will destroy it, because as things move in a rightward direction, most of the people who are in your movement would like to backstop it in a different place, and mostly that backstop exists in the 1990s, and that's really what's kind of killing a lot of the momentum in the quote-unquote dissident movement or alternate politics or whatever you have it. As soon as things start moving back, as soon as the current thing is switched out for, as we see now, the new counter-jihad, which is the Israel stuff and the stuff against Russia, all of it doesn't make any sense. James Lindsay doesn't make sense stapled to someone like the much less liberal version of Sargon that now exists. Or, people like us. It doesn't make any sense. Because
right.
To him, we are, and our ideas are much more dangerous than the non-woke left.
I think our ideas he might find them more dangerous than the woke left, even. From what we're gonna see here in a second that I'm gonna bring up is that so Carl says it's really not happy to have a long form discussion about it sometime, referring to the thing that we just read. Lindsay responds, "We already did. Once was enough."
Okay.
Carl. Yeah.
Okay, something that I don't understand about these people, the people that are like sort of reactionary for a time period rather than a political framework of the regime, is I don't understand how they can't understand that the positions they advocate for is a product of a cog, and they have no idea how to make the cog stop moving.
Right, it's going to require some kind of significant change. Just trying to roll back the clock is not going to fix it. That's just preventing that's stalling the inevitable.
But also, and
if that were possible,
I wrote about this
like
freaking 2 years ago. Something that I've noticed is that society does this really weird thing where some other force incorporates the social change into the regime, like a slow plug, just like a venom just being injected slowly into the population, and it's allowed to cripple the population, but just in a way that it's not noticeable immediately, but the effects will become noticeable afterwards. But no one is allowed to talk about the change until it's too late, and then it becomes like a social faux pas, and this just keeps going on and on and on. decade after decade, and then you're in this weird position where there's a whole load of shit in a society that's really, really fucked up that everyone can notice but no one can talk about. And I just find that really, really weird.
I find all of this weird.
Like I said this to Scrump, like how much of today's problems can you honestly discuss without being labeled?
Nothing. You're just gonna get a label, and that's the current paradigm. Go ahead. Sorry, Scott.
I just said, someone in chat said the world is too complex to hold consistent, simple principles, saying that it agrees with James Lindsay
I disagree.
on some of this. I just say
I disagree completely.
Categorically not. I said it on Twitter the other day, but my contention is that we have a permanent elite class who enforces loyalty via mutual blackmail.
Yes.
We know
Absolutely.
this via not just the Epstein stuff, but via, if you want to, anyone wants to look it up, the Dutroux affair or Belgium's White March, which was basically Epstein on steroids at the heart of the EU, or what was becoming the EU, and also just things that we know about the British elite class as well. They have mutual blackmail, and their mutual blackmail of choice is what Epstein got up to.
It always is. It has been for forever. Well, not for forever, but in modern history.
Pre-1945, their mode of blackmail, preferred mode of blackmail, was people being homosexuals.
Yeah.
That's why you found so many homosexuals within the British power
Homosexuals
structure.
Go back even further, having bastards set like that, etc. It's always there's always been some form of this.
But since 1945, the ultimate taboo, the ultimate thing that you cannot do, the ultimate dirt you can have on somebody is that they are a pedophile. And so that is their mechanism of elite kind of loyalty guarantee. It is
once they bring you in.
It is their mutually assured destruction. And
absolutely.
Once you have a permanent elite class who is willing to essentially ritually sacrifice children to maintain their own power and police their own class, it's indisputable that those people are evil and should be removed.
That is exactly the case. You're completely correct.
Nothing should be off the table to remove those people. And I don't think the second contention James Lindsay can stomach, because it's not something that fits into a liberal worldview. You can't have a struggle with an existential enemy that is not, quote unquote, a Nazi within a liberal framework.
You can't vote. You can't vote out this oligarchy that exists behind the scenes. This, if you want to call it the shadow government or whatever, I don't really care. But it is the shadow elites that do this stuff. Absolutely, they get these people on board to do whatever the hell they want because they have this blackmail against you. They have this over your head. You went to Epstein's Island, for example, right? Which is now it's all coming out. Well, they've dropped all that stuff, and no one's seen it. This is the thing that's crazy. No one appears to be above the board on that. So everyone was involved with this because it was trading influence, right? Trading power. So yeah, and you come over to my island. I'm going to set you up with this 12-year-old girl, and then I'm going to keep that over you, forever. And it's sick beyond comprehension.
I will say at this point in time, just from engaging with people in the discourse, if I see you use the phrase Nazi and you're not explicitly talking about the Third Reich, I'm very likely to just ignore you. Like,
I don't mean anything.
Yeah, because I just don't give a shit what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly. So Carl responds saying, shame you feel that way. It might be worth revisiting what I said about emotional commitment to liberalism. It seems relevant.
It's not very often to see Sargon get a massive win.
It's a massive W. And the thing is that, I don't know when it is in this thread,
Sargon W.
But Carl says here, he's also, I don't know if I have that tweet pulled up, but he says, yeah, I still want to be a liberal. I'm sad. Even if he's just sad, but he's like, I want to still be a liberal. But you can tell that it's
Sargon taking the massive L, the massive win, and then just trading it for an L 5 seconds.
But I can understand that. I can understand that completely. Just like how I wish libertarianism worked, right? I really wish libertarianism worked.
It just needs a very strong monarch.
It needs a monarch around it, but sure.
Yeah. I was going to say, I tried having that discussion with some of the, to be fair, some of them are pretty good, the natural rights people and things like that, but a lot of them don't. Anyone who's a libertarian who sees the current regime we have ends up graduating to basically what we think, or I guess it is still what we think. People like Pete Quinones and stuff, and people like that, who are technically like the post-libertarian crowd, who kind of move through some of the stuff that we move through together, really. Because I know Evelyn did quite a few streams with Pete during that kind of phase. But once you see the realities of power, liberalism and libertarianism can't deal with those. They can't deal with like capital P power.
They need to be protected by some overarching system that is not, that is not accessible and able to be affected by the sways of the voting populace, which has no idea what they want or what is good for them at any point in time, and will just bow to whatever they're being told by the media or by their friends or family.
I kind of want
that stuff doesn't work.
take on this. I was watching me and Aiden's stream on this. A guy called Jim that Molbug was on with, where he said
Molbug was on with Jim.
Not Mr. Medicare.
not Mr. Medicare. Oh my god, that'd be fucking hilarious stream.
I'd watch the fuck out of that.
Yeah, that'd be some good shit. But they basically said Molbug makes his case that democracy basically fills this huge power drive that people want to feel like they matter.
Yes.
And he made the
You're
case.
obvious you don't.
Yes, but from what I can see is that in the current regime, people see democracy as a failsafe for when politicians go bad, and so in their mind, the state apparatus itself is just this completely corrupt cesspool, and democracy is necessary because people don't know how to behave with power. Like the very concept of like statecraft prior to the democratic era does not exist in their framework, and therefore the idea that a person can hold absolute power is instantly a despot and a despotic one and a tyrannical one, and they can't deal with it in any other way.
No, I'm sorry, you're exactly correct, but that it's my no was about like obviously that's not correct, but that it's this fantasy that's been created. I think like Disney movies and media have totally warped the modern brain into thinking that if there's it's not just that, it's also like the I'm going to call it. My dad used to call the History Channel in the U.S. the Hitler Channel, and this was back in the 90s. He said this, by the way.
Oh my god, I need to. There's this trailer that the History Channel put out basically for Hitler, and it's like a Hitler hype video. I think Charlemagne tweeted it once. I'll have to try and find it. It's so good. It's so good.
Western and particularly an American obsession with this idea that only our system of government is the correct one, and it's the only one that possibly could work or ever has worked. It is because America is divorced from Europe,
the rest of the world,
and European history, and yes, from her roots. It's this orphaned child who has. I don't. Orphan is better than divorce. So they have no idea.
It's
of
the child raised.
Any history.
It's the child raised by. It's a trust fund baby.
Yeah, but has no idea of the rest of world history. That like, and it really is. If you ask people about this,
when Scrump says that to me, I get generally horrified.
The Hitler hype video.
Yeah, because I'm watching it right now.
Oh no, is it good or is it
the history? Well, the thing is, the History Channel made it, so it can't be that bad. You know, the History Channel. This isn't fake. The History Channel actually made this.
All right, let's see. Let me pull it up.
Hold on a second. Let me just pause some music.
Can I watch this? Do you think we can watch this, or are we gonna get in trouble?
No, it's a History Channel bumper. That's
all
what
right,
it is.
It's a bumper. It's a bumper.
It's literally a History Channel bumper.
Let's see.
All right, I'm gonna. All right. Don't have epilepsy and watch this. Why does it make him look so cool, though? I hate when they do shit like this. Why do they make things like this?
What did the History Channel mean by this?
Yeah, what?
What? This is official. This is official History Channel like fash wave.
Yeah, it is. Like they did the fash wave meme. There was. Oh, did you see that what is it? A freedom thing. the movie Song of Freedom, or what's it called? Cry of Freedom? I can't remember what it's called.
Great architecture, stylish uniform, one man destined to rescue his country from humiliation. Like, dude, I could narrate the shit out of this and make him sound like a badass.
No. It wasn't that. It wasn't the Song of Freedom. It was, it's
That's so funny.
Civil War. Did you see the trailer for that?
Because like, here's the thing. If you look at him, you can easily sell Uncle Adolf as a good pitch for a story, given what Germany was going through. Easily. And given like the aesthetic, like say what you like about the Third Reich, right? Aesthetically, they were badass.
Say. It's fucking.
And you do.
I remind her of the fake like Pixar films.
Oh, the memes.
This November,
Right.
one man is about to make Germany a different place.
Yeah, the Civil War trailer, the 2024 Civil War movie, which is gonna you're gonna get so fucked up in the SEO because of Marvel's Civil War. But did you see this trailer before? I'm just gonna play it real quick. It's
We're
like
gonna
you made it.
we're gonna get
so
copy strike
awesome.
already, so fuck it.
Yeah, so fine, whatever.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
Like
Oh,
they
God,
make it look
this.
so. Yeah, they make it look so dope.
It actually looks kind of cheap. This film. But
Oh yeah, like the film. It's an A24 movie, so it literally is cheap. But
Like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
I'm gonna answer your question there, Arturus, in a minute.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas.
Thank you, President Ron Swanson.
California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States.
So,
military.
by the way, the plot of this film is that California and Texas secede
Based.
because they're so aligned politically.
I don't know. The thing is, California's got like a weird accelerationism thing going on.
Maybe,
I can
but
see that.
they're supposed to be like far. I don't know why it's like the far rightist, but I don't know why they do California. Just because it's the most populous state or one of the most populous states. I don't know.
Mr. President, do you
The
regret
trailer
use of
sounds.
airstrikes
I know the
against
trailer
American
sounds right.
citizens? We're moving to D.C. today.
We need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol.
Based. Oh, if only.
Instinct in me says this is death. Bloody.
In Minecraft, of course.
Every time I survived a war zone, I thought I was sending a warning.
Is that that's Mary Jane from fucking Spider-Man, isn't it? Just realized
Kirsten
that.
Dunst?
Kirsten Dunst, yeah.
Don't do this.
Oh yeah,
She's
her
aged
name
really
is.
well.
But here we are.
No, she's aged well.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. Look, well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
Good question. I love this. Like, this is such horrible propaganda, but I love it because it's so bad.
He's supposed to be the bad guy.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the bad
He's
guy.
like, well, have you thought about what kind of American you are?
If he was really
Maybe
bad, I
you
would just shoot you without asking.
There's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
war going on.
Yeah.
Maybe you should.
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my god.
Of course, on July 4th.
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and
This is pornography. Let's just be clear. This is leftist pornography.
That explains why I have an erection.
I mean, well, that's the thing. I think like the left made it as porn for themselves to be like, oh yeah, oh this is what Trump did. This is exactly what happened.
You
with
do
Trump.
realize Tim Pool right now is a stiffy watching this.
I know.
Yeah. Where's the video of Randy Marsh? It was a spooky ghost. It was ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm.
Right?
justice for all. God bless America.
It's amazing. There's no way I'm not going to watch this stupid movie.
Can I get conspiratorial for a second? I
Yeah,
believe
do it.
I believe the
fly.
elite put out Hollywood propaganda every couple of years
All the time.
because it's an indication of what they want to do in the future.
They put it out constantly.
Yes,
But yeah,
and so
yeah.
when I see shit like this, my mind immediately thinks like, this is a mission statement for like 5 years from now.
I'm gonna say, yeah, this
Probably.
is like a weird bit of blue beam. I'm sorry, but if the American
yeah,
media
yeah.
announces that the Civil War is happening, it's not happening.
Yeah,
and if,
exactly.
if the
Exactly.
Civil War will not be televised, put it that way.
Yep.
I don't think there will be one personally. All I see, unfortunately, is slow death and decline.
That's what I see
don't-
as well.
I
It's
don't
not
think
going to be
America will have
this
the
big civil
wherewithal
war.
to fight itself.
Yeah, actually, Scrump, now that you mentioned that, just out of curiosity, because I said this on a stream with Tommy Sotomayor with a bunch of Americans, and they got really pissy at me. I said to them, America is too pussy to take up arms against the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, because
Well-
I don't think for a second any of them have the balls to take up arms against the government. Like, not a fucking chance in hell.
Well, there's the whole thing. What is it? If like libertarians and agorists like meant what they said, like there would have been a revolution by now.
I think
And
we do mean what we say. The problem is that
It's lacking
you're
coordination.
talking about we're everyone's comfy, right? And so having to, what are you going to do? And it's actually, it's what Joe Biden said. Remember, it's like, oh, you got your guns and your in your haulers, but we've got Apache helicopters or whatever.
Scrum,
what are we going to do? We've got
Scrum, do you know what's
tanks.
funny? Do you know what their comeback was when I said that? Their comeback was, well, our founding fathers did. So let me get this straight. You think you are the same class of people as those who existed like 250 fucking years ago? Are you shitting me? You think you're the same class of human beings?
Was
Like, get the
more
fuck
even
out.
there.
I was going to say, if Americans are willing to put up with someone like Hunter Biden and just like the vulgarity that was on display today of a crack addict rapist storming out of like a Senate hearing with no consequences, like if they're just going to sit there and try and like argue with people and needle at people as like, because there's a lot of them who still basically call people Nazis going around on Twitter.
That's all they have.
God, yeah, they still
Even
do.
a lot of like the weird 3D printed gun people go around and, oh well, you can't talk to them, they're a Nazi and things like that. To be fair, not all of them. We've had some people on our stream before. RK Spookware, great guy. There's some great representatives from that community, but there's a large amount of them that seem to be just, they're like evolved lolbuts, and it baffles me, because if you're going to be some kind of like weird political extremist talking about armed conflict, and yet you can't brook other people's, you think other people's political opinions are icky and weird and too right wing, then I'm afraid you might as well turn your 3D printed guns on yourself, because you're going nowhere. It's weird that people, they can't handle a debate and they think they're going to be able to handle an armed conflict. It's very odd to me.
I know, yeah. I know, oh my gosh, yeah, they can't handle a microaggression, yeah, and they think they're going to go to war. So this is the end of the conversation, the James Lindsay thing, which is that Carl says, that's a shame, James, because between us, I'm the one who actually understands liberalism. This is a little smug on Carl's part, let's be clear. And
well, compared to Lindsay,
but compared
that shot holds water, I will say.
And White has brought us to the position we are in. You are far too emotionally committed to see the wood for the trees, and are being incredibly rude to defend your lack of knowledge. And he was being really rude. He was rude to me as well. And I like Dr. Lindsay a lot, but he's like lashing out at people in a way that
he's arrogant.
Carl says that he likes him, and then I don't think he said he considers him a friend, but Carl said the same thing I did, which is that like, I thought we were chill, man. What the fuck is this? You know?
One more thing on the gun thing. Sorry, I called this one on someone the other day. It's just that it's not that America is so wonderful they're allowed to have guns. It's that the American government thinks so little of the American populace that it thinks it can allow them to have guns and they won't be kicked out of power.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Wow, I've never thought of it that way.
That is horrifyingly probably true.
Holy shit! That just made me look at the Second Amendment completely differently.
Well, they haven't got rid of it. It's like, yeah, have all your guns. You're not going to do it.
What are you going to do?
You know what?
We've got tanks. We've got Apache helicopters. What are you going to do, bitch? The only thing that they have to worry about is the military defecting, which I think a lot will.
Scrump just like
you don't even have guns. You don't even have guns. It's like they had to take our guns away from us because we couldn't be trusted with them.
Yeah.
You still have your guns. What's your excuse? Anyway, I'll stop dabbing on the Americans.
No, you're completely.
It's a bad
no, like holy
really
shit.
Good point.
Scrump just like, I'm not gonna unsee that ever. Fuck. I never thought about it that way. Holy shit.
Sometimes I just wake up in the middle of the night and I think these things. And then sometimes I just wake up in the middle of the night and make stupid memes. One of my favorite memes I've ever made is it's a picture of baby food on a spoon over the plane hitting the World Trade Center.
What the fuck?
And the caption is just in quotes, "Here comes the aeroplane."
God damn, dude.
God damn.
Yeah. So then after this tweet that I just read, Dr. Lindsay blocked Carl. Carl responds, I consider this an open admission that James can't substantiate his argument. I've never once insulted James. In fact, I defended him many times. In our discussion, I pointed out that many people are emotionally attached to liberalism in an unhealthy way. Seems relevant.
Yeah, Sargon is right. I will defend. It's funny because I made a video just criticizing Sargon, and then the next video I'll make is defending him against James Lindsay because he's true. Like James, I've noticed James Lindsay is incredibly unhinged, and he's really thin-skinned, and he cannot take any criticism of his position. Like he is very ideologically wedded to an idea that exists only in his own head.
I will say that Sargon has had an almost identical exchange with me recently, even though, to be fair, on my part, slightly more ill-tempered, because I don't pretend to be nice to people on the internet. I just don't. I don't do the whole, oh, well, I was being nice thing. That really rubs me the wrong way. I hate that shit. But anyway, he had an exact exchange. I don't want to bring it up because it's drama, to be honest with you, in which he ended up blocking Millennial Woes. Sargon still hasn't blocked, I believe. Yes.
What did he say?
Because what happened was, Millennial Woes made a very good point, which is basically just say, look, Sargon, you have spent the last 5 to 10 years attempting to quote unquote demolish the far right and speaking out against positions that you now have, that you have adopted. Will you at least apologize not only to me, but other people for going round for years pointing at people and going, you see them over there? You see the alt-right? They're the real Nazis. Ooh, the alt-right. Ooh, I'm a liberal. Real Nazis. He spent years doing that. I was on the back end watching him seethe about these people and telling him not to do it, maybe just to make fun of a few people, especially when it comes to the weird online drama stuff. I mean, that's mostly what I did when it came to people like, I think the only person I've ever really talked about like that is Captain Frog's Legs. And oh boy, have we been vindicated about that.
Here you have Harry also from the Lotus Eaters, who's a fellow monarchist. Quotes, Carl respectfully disagrees with James Lindsay, and I took that personally. He also says liberals always side with communists when push comes to shove, which is true. This was motivated by Orrin McIntyre pointing out correctly that DEI is an extension of the Civil Rights Act, and Lindsay starts throwing a pissy fit over his sacred cow being criticized, fundamentally unserious. Men like Lindsay have no serious... Oh.
Yeah, what is this? Image for ants? There we go.
Yeah, sorry. Men like Lindsay have no solutions to our problems. He's a snake oil salesman who wants to sell you a complicated, fancy explanation of wokeness as French post-constructional fetish theory while ignoring the legal and social framework of powers woke ignore.
True.
I agree with Harry, and it's unfortunate because I do like Dr. Lindsay quite a lot.
Aiden, we are going to beat you if you keep fucking saying that every time you criticize someone.
I will say, someone asked, wasn't Sargon a millennial? No, that was Harry Robinson.
Yeah.
I gotta say, this has accidentally turned into the Harry Robinson promotion stream, but Harry's a good lad. So.
Harry is a good lad.
Yes.
Harry's great. I'm going to read the super chats I didn't get, because there's quite a few. And then
I kind of want to get him on the screen with...
How much time do you have, Scrump? I don't know.
I got plenty of time. I got a bit more time.
Okay, cool.
I actually want to get him on the screen with you and Scrump.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Sven, for 2, sent me a video in Discord, which I did want to bring up because, he sent that to me a while ago. It's over here. Can I get back to it quickly? Cool. There it is. Yep. Got it. Okay. How do I copy link? I think this will work.
Chat be like, Bill, be Aiden for
no, it just tried to save it. Okay, that's fine. Can I then just play it? What? This is the problem with fucking Discord links. Oh no. Okay. How do I put this?
Bill, save us.
Well, I don't know how to open this. Someone sent me a thing, but
Where's the bloke, love?
I don't know how to put this into
Where's the bloke? Just open it in your browser.
I'm trying.
Download it and open it in Chrome. Download right click.
I don't
Chrome.
use Chrome. I use Brave.
Find them Brave. Sorry.
Yeah, where did I put this?
Oh no, the boomerism. The boomerism.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's all right. All right.
See what happens when we put a woman in charge.
Look, I got it. Look, it only took like 2 minutes.
My name is Chad Kroger. As you may have probably already heard, Jeffrey Epstein's list was unveiled this past week. I'm stoked to see that none of you were on it. But I was super heartbroken to see many of my idols' names pop up, namely Stephen Hawking, which I think we can all agree none of us saw coming. Trust in the American institution has officially bombed out and hit dry reef.
Oh my God.
At the moment, it feels like our country is run entirely by pervy douche nozzles. And I, for one, am no longer stoked on listing bad dudes. The American people need something to kickstart our engines and revamp our stoke.
Yeah.
That is why I'm requesting council that you release the Keanu Reeves list. Celebs, politicians, and world-renowned astrologists who have kicked back with Keanu and exemplify his moral fortitude. Altruistic and hot. It's time we have some heroes to guide us back home. Thank you.
It's totally tubular, dude. Fantastic.
I wish American politics was like this. You know what?
Me too.
Idiocracy is gentler and nicer and better as a collapsed state than our current state is.
I know. Deadpool Kid for 5 says, "Hey everyone, anything crazy going on?" Oh yeah, a little bit. just the typical crazy though. Lancer 5 says, "In order to be a true nerd, you have to hyper focus on the most tertiary of background characters and make them your favorite. Mine's Detective Bullock. That's base nerd stuff. Let's go, Lance." Deadpool Kid for 10 says, "Hey guys, I don't know what 2024 will bring, but my gut tells me more of Summer of Love, almost assuredly. They're gonna blow shit up because Trump's gonna win. I mean, well, if he doesn't win, I don't know. If Trump doesn't win this year, I think the American experiment's over. Like
if Trump doesn't win, I'm having a word with the scriptwriters.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
It's just like, look, Trump winning is very obviously in the script.
Mm-hmm.
They're building it up, they're teasing it, they're building tension with these court cases that the Supreme Court are obviously going to kick out. It's like a plot line. And to be fair, the people who craft media narratives deliberately craft them like fiction.
Yes.
We know this. This is what they do. And I believe that the role of Donald Trump is to come in and quote unquote restore the faith in American democracy, and they can just survive him again for another 4 years.
Maybe. He says there may not be an election. I don't know for sure. I'll sing the Doom song. I think that a lot of people would really like there to not be an election because that is the ultimate goal, I think.
What, after he's elected or before?
Before. I think that we should be careful that there is a very real possibility that the left is going to push for there to not be an election whatsoever, because I said this in 2020 and
it makes them look more desperate, which is funny.
Yeah, but we're talking about the collapse of the American empire, which I think is inevitable.
If they go, no election, Biden again, that's them just putting like the gun to their head and go, just fucking shoot me, is what they're saying.
Yeah,
like, we've had enough.
I agree.
Cycle us out.
Put us out of our misery.
But they feel so incredibly, like I said, it's what Biden said. What are you going to do? We've got helicopters, we've got tanks, we've got bombs. What are you going to do?
I don't know if they'll throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet.
I'm not sure either, but that is, Biden said that. So, I mean, who knows? A DRT is king for. I'm not that catastrophic normally, but just saying, I wouldn't discount that possibility.
The answer to Biden's question is people are just going to give up. They're going to stop going to work. They're going to stop caring, and America's just going to slowly fade into nothing. That's what it's even more horrible, really, than civil. At least there's a chance of renewal. America's just going to fade away.
I think that's almost assuredly the way it's going to happen, is that the current America is going to just fade away into dust, because why would I work when half the country doesn't work and just sits at home and collects paychecks from the government.
Like this is gonna sound a bit radical on my part, but I
know it's not that much, but you know what I mean.
And the Scrump probably will disagree with this, but I think the only way the American empire really saves face is if Trump goes like Pinochet.
If Trump, there's a very slim possibility that Trump just decides, fuck it.
I wish he would.
What
He won't.
What if I actually was Mussolini? Like, what's stopping me? What if he? But he's not. That's not on the
That's
card.
the thing. He's not.
Yes,
The American military is full of people who have one eye on the board of Raytheon.
And the other on fucking Lockheed Martin.
Yeah. And the other eye's on a board spot on Lockheed Martin.
Exactly.
The thing of it is, I think, from what I know about the Americans, is they're very susceptible to speechcraft and a way to sell their nation as an objective good. Like, if I was a speechwriter, I could easily sell Trump as a good monarch. Like, as a good one-man ruler for the nation. Yeah. Yes. Like, you just need to sell it in a way that makes the Americans proud to be American. They can get rid of democracy and get rid of the... Like, you just need to sell them... This is what I said to a friend of mine. I said, if you want to sell the idea of American as a kingdom, you just need to tell them that you respect the Constitution, but you wish to see it animated in a better vehicle instead of being abused in the gangbang it's being trapped in right now. And he said to me, like, holy shit, that would work. Like, yes. Because you basically want to say the oligarchy is abusing it, and you really need someone to grab it by the balls and tell everyone to fuck off. I am the person that can really animate the spirit of the founding fathers.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, for goodness sake, the founding fathers hated democracy with a passion. And many of them were not opposed to a king.
More super chats.
Yes, let me get through these super chats. Let's get through this. Okay, so these were also the Jews that were banned and had a major dust up with an NYPD in 2020. The memes are fire. That was from DRT's King. And Deadpool Kid, for 5 says, Skaven tunnels have been discovered. Summon the elector counts.
Can we just say one thing?
Let's take it aside to do that real quick.
If there was one reason to keep AI, is because the memes are outstanding.
We'll take a quick aside to talk about this.
So fucking good.
So, chaos breaks out in New York City after underground tunnels were discovered under the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters in Brooklyn. The incident below Lubavitch? Chabad? I don't know.
Lubavitch.
Whatever.
Okay. I can explain some of this. Do you want to actually explain what happened, or at least what the percentage story of what happened?
Please tell me. I need someone to steal from when I make a video about this.
Okay, so from what I understand is that, so what the temple has said why they were doing this. They said they were building these tunnels so that they could get into the temple during COVID to observe the Shabbat.
Which is bullshit.
That's why.
Believes
they
that.
were. This
no one fucking believes that.
Just play the video real quick. Should I play the video?
The people in the tunnels. Just play the video and then I'll go over it.
Because there's some weird shit in this video. A lot of weird shit.
Adventurous.
Remember, chat, there could be Jews in your walls.
There could be Jews in your sewers.
Who's keeping all this powered? And who's paying for it?
So they literally found the Jews in the walls, by the way. There they are. You can see them back here. There they are.
Pause it for a second.
Yeah?
Pause it for a second. Look at this building.
Yeah.
This is not a roughshod building. This is a fully furnished and fucking...
Yeah. That is the synagogue that's underground. That was already there and knew about that. Yeah. The tunnels, this isn't underground base. The underground base is being...
Yeah, this is the synagogue. It's at where you can see the Jews in the walls.
Oh, okay, sorry. Thanks for that. I was fucking confused. I'm like, how the hell is no one noticing this shit?
No, they had these wooden panels up in front of it.
Oh, that makes way more fucking sense.
You see the wooden panels there? Those were up all along that wall, but there were tunnels behind them.
That's a stupid moment for me, thanks for that.
Yeah.
My apologies. A moment.
The whole thing is bizarre.
It's insane. I'm so confused by it. I'm legitimately confused by this. I don't get it.
Anyway.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. The weirdest thing, which I don't know if I have the picture of it here, is that they found a bloody mattress in the wall.
In the wall.
Why is there a bloody mattress in the walls? You were digging?
Yeah.
They were trying apparently, they were trying. The Lubavitch people own the building and the defunct kind of bath area that they were trying to get to, basically. And it's a tunnel, really, because the people in the tunnel are weird adherents of someone they believe is the Messiah.
Yes. This is a very specific sect. Here's a picture of it.
Since we've already been basically demonetized as well.
We were demonetized way before this, but here's a picture of the bloody mattress. Oh yes, put some.
By the way, something I would like to know is why the hell is that stain at the top of the mattress?
Items begin to bounce.
Very odd position for the stain to be in.
That was the first thing that I noticed. It wasn't what the stain is; it was where.
It's a child-sized mattress too. It's a really tiny mattress. And I don't know. It just looks fucked. It just looks so fucked.
So jokes I want to make.
I mean, everyone's talking about this, but it's like, what the fuck is this?
Oh dear! Where'd that start? God damn it! I pressed the wrong button. I'm just trying to make the items bounce.
Hang on,
do you know what else?
Sorry, what we're talking about this.
Do you know what else? What I saw as well? There was. I wish I could still find this. It was on my phone at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a girl. It was a girl who said. Oh, fuck! Goddamn it, Scrump!
This song kills me.
It was a girl who said, the people who were asking questions about this, you already had anti-Semitic feelings before you had that in your heart.
No,
I'm looking at this shit like,
confused.
bitch, if you tell me that if I was looking at this and I have questions over why the hell did these people crawl out from a fucking tunnel, why the hell is there that mattress, why the hell is there people in the wall, and your first instinct is to call me anti-Semitic, that is not helping quell our suspicions. That is just amplifying it.
I'm just confused by that. That's all I've ever said about it. I'm fucking confused.
You know what?
What is this?
As a person on the bleeding edge, supposedly, of the online right, I think I've been very nice and calm about the Jews in the walls with bloody mattresses. You know, I think I've been very reserved with my questions. I think I've been very reasonable.
Yeah.
Can I just say, just as a segue from that, watch my Rumble video tomorrow, where I will not be as nice as Scrump. I will be very, very direct and ask some uncomfortable questions.
I will say that it is all very, very strange.
Here was the meme we were talking about earlier, though, which was this guy.
I can hear academic agent's voice whenever I see this video, just strongly pumping in the back of my head.
What? But Richard Strocker here says, he had said, I swear I keep hearing Yiddish under the floor of my New York apartment. I live at ground level and we have no basement from December of 2023. And then he says, there are Jews living under my apartment. I hear them. It's like they're digging or something. For the record, I live at ground level. We do not have a basement. In November of 2023, he says, I'm not crazy. Some of you owe me an apology.
That's great. I mean, I've heard of people calling it before, but like I said, every single internet schizo has been
I know, right?
Completely
even South Park made a joke about
every
this.
internet schizo, yeah.
I told you they were in there. You didn't believe me.
They were there. Hey, Spin, do you have the...
Bounce.
I'm going to have to use the restroom real quick, but it'll take me like a second. You want to read some super chats? Do you have them up, or can you? I can send them to you.
Yeah, I can read them. What was the last
one?
I could read some if you need it.
Start
Where
with
are we up to?
What Spin for £5, who says it's interesting how we're all poorer. We did not need as many social programs, and now in the hecking awesome current year, we need more each year. I know it's cute, isn't it? We always need more social programs each year. Minnesota Fats, who's been a member for 12 months, says, "Good evening, boss. I'll just get the super chats. I'm sending them. Gonna plug Kretosis, an excellent entertainment analysis YouTuber. just released an hour-long takedown on the Doctor Who 60th special. I will have to check that
How
out. I
dare
will
you
check that
promote
out,
other
Minnesota.
content on our channel?
Now do it. Mongoose
You
became
paid
a
us
member.
fine, don't worry about
Monkey,
it.
sorry.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Slosher for 20 Canadian says, there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. Tim Dillon, 100%.
Oh,
Horowitz
that's a
Feinberg
great
and Horowitz for $25 says, what makes me laugh is the amendment prevents the assumption of office if found guilty of insurrection. Every state trying to kick Orange Man off the ballot has all but admitted he will win this year's election. Just saying. Isn't that interesting, right? Isn't that interesting?
That's a good point, actually.
It is, yes. Lance for 2 says, racism is alive and well, just only towards whitey. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Rob Walker, who's been a member for 10 months, says, Lindsay is still too married to being a liberal. He and Sargon had a good discussion on Benjamin Boyce's show months ago about it, and James wants to save it. I know.
I've watched that stream, and Sargon kicked the shit out of him.
Oh my gosh. It's a whole bunch. Can you get to...
Yes, I can read them.
Okay, I'll be right back.
We can read them.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Here we go. Are we up to
Slosher?
Slosher for 20 Canadian.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Every time I hear someone say someone like Lindsay speak, I think the line. I think of the line asked in No Country for Old Men. If the rule you followed led you to this, of what use was the rule?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, you are spot on with the time machine analogy. But yes, some people talk about, like, I guess, a deterministic view of history. But yes, if reality has inexorably led you here, what does that say about reality? That's what I ask people, and a lot of people can't handle that question. If liberalism has inexorably led here, then what does that say about liberalism's interactions with the real world?
Can I ask an extremely disturbing question of you, Scrump?
What?
Okay, I'm not saying this was a bad idea in general, but do you think if you just unwind the clock and go as far back as you can, do you think maybe getting rid of slavery was a bad idea? And
I think going round performatively pretending that you can, like, prevent other people from having different morality frame to you was a bad idea. I think that it wasn't. To be fair, slavery was ended in Europe due to Christianity in the Middle Ages. And there hasn't really been slavery in Europe, apart from small patches of what is effectively illegal for 1,000 years in most places.
I try to think of, like, if I were to try and map where did I think woke started, my mind went, removing slavery was probably a bad idea. And I know that sounds horrifying to people, but I'm not saying that the idea of doing it is bad in theory. It's more the case of trying to implement this on a worldwide scale across cultures where this is like a staple of their civilization is insane.
Political religiosity. It's political religiosity in the sense that it isn't absolute. It's almost like a crusade. And I would agree with you that having an unlimited policy of basically world policing as it pertains to the issue of slavery is the same as having a world policing policy in regards to democracy. All it does is justify unlimited interventionism.
Because
so I would say that I think slavery is obviously bad, but yes. I'm going to read some more super chats though.
Yeah, sorry, where were we at? Hello back.
I think, Artrus Oranus for $5 says, I think the issue is that thinking of politics as a two-pole spectrum falls into the Marcuse trap of one-dimensionality, and I would agree with you there.
I agree as well. The two-pole spectrum is limited as hell. It's not useful. Yep. Analog Mind for 10 says, in regards to recent spats on Twitter, I think the problem is that neither Carl nor you guys... Oh, we read that one, and I think we went through that. Analog Mind for another 5 says, seriously, Aiden, reach out to Gary and have him put you back in touch with Carl and have a conversation with him instead of what he perceives as Twitter banter. I don't know who Gary is, but it's not difficult for me to get
happen.
But it's also not difficult for me to get in contact with Carl. I don't know which Gary. What do you mean? Who's Gary?
Carl won't come on here and discuss his ideas.
Isn't he a snail? I thought Gary was a snail.
I don't know which Gary you're referring to, but
I'm in my head now thinking about a debate between Sargon and Gary from SpongeBob.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about, but if I needed to get in contact with Carl, he's not going to come on, I don't think, but I'd be more than happy to go on Lotus Eaters again, which I might. I don't know. But I don't think I've said anything. We've just mostly agree with Carl here. Next time I go to England, I probably will be on Lotus Eaters again if they want me to be on. Don't know, but it'll probably be a while from now because that's about timelines. Dronegi for 20 says, bit of a detour, but to celebrate Spoon's appreciation for the warlord of Pippa-Kistan, drinks for everyone. Cheers, Dronegi. Yeah, let's go, Pippa.
Yeah, people were surprised that I defended Pippa. I don't know why. You're surprised that I
Pippa's
defended
nothing wrong.
someone?
No, I clicked off.
No, but
Sorry, I'm rearranging my windows here. Also, Evelyn just wants to say hello.
Hello, people. I love the nation of Israel. I hope you all do too.
We all love the nation of Israel here.
It keeps the stream safe.
we all
really
yes,
love
we're all
information
fine
there.
now.
Okay.
We love the nation of Israel.
No, hold on a second. If my government is anything to go by, I can't really endorse that message. Oh my god,
the most legitimate state.
Dude, I saw the fucking shit South Africa was coming out with. I'm like, you stupid motherfuckers, you can't even run your own nation. Why the fucking hell are you getting involved in geopolitical affairs? This is like the dumbest move I've seen.
True.
Oh,
A Deadpool Kid for 10 says, I think leftists secretly want an S&M relationship with a Nazi. That name calling might be foreplay for them. Oh yeah, 100%. They want someone dressed in Hugo Boss to come and bully them.
I can testify to this personally. I can.
Actress Uranus for 10 says, how can you say democracy is bad? It's a popularity contest, and also think the 2020 election was fortified.
True.
But if it was the former, they wouldn't need to fortify such.
No, democracy is bad, but only if we win. That's why they need to fortify it.
They fortified because they lost.
Yes.
And that's why democracy is bad. Both things can be true at the same time, Artemis.
Yes, they're not mutually exclusive.
Or Atris. Both things can be true at the same time. Democracy is shite, but at the same time, they fortified it because they lost.
We love democracy, but only when we win.
I'll handle this.
Sure.
I think what he's describing is the fact that a lot of people make an argument that democracy functioning as intended is bad, and then talk about the fact that democracy isn't functioning as intended.
Okay.
Which I think is sometimes a bit of a trap. Sometimes he's trying to
maybe.
A lot of people talking about, oh, well, that's not very democratic, because a lot of people fall into that. But maybe that's a tangential point, but no, both can be true. Democracy, quote unquote, function is intended. It would be bad. It wouldn't work. It's just mob rule. It's just, two people voting to kill the third. But also,
like
yes,
Hopper.
it's bad because it doesn't make it into the real world, and all it does really is act as kind of consent manufacturing for very, very poor quality elites. So.
And now you sound like Mulbug.
I think it's the thing, Atras, is that, both things can be true at once. That's the problem. Lancer5 says, I love hearing Spoon talk crap about Americans. Where's your nation, Irishman?
Where's my nation?
In South Africa. Spoon? How do you respond?
How do I respond? My nation has won sports events and yours hasn't won fuck all.
Dude McGuy Pants for
Your
10
nation
says,
is so up its ass in its ego, it calls baseball the World Series, despite the fact the only fucking country that plays it is you. You've never won shit except for the Olympics, and you only win because you have a number of entrants, not because you produce any quality. Fuck you. Don't ever insult my nation. Eat a dick. We have won world sports events. Fuck you.
Oh my god. Lance, you put a bomb in his potato. Dude McGuy Pants for 10
Shut
says...
up, you piss-headed yank.
to
fucking insult me. I'm being insulted here by an Englishman and a fucking yank who haven't won shit either. Fuck both of you.
Dude McGuy Pants for 10 says, to print your own, look up the get-a-log to get started. Also remember, armor can't man street corners. I have no idea what you meant by that, Dude McGuy Pants. But
I know exactly what he means.
What does he mean?
Armor can't man street corners means that basically you can't, like, tanks and planes can't man street corners. They can't patrol and maintain a community.
Yeah, and they certainly can't fuck around the Appalachian wilderness if the U.S. government
How is
tries
that
to take over the
delusional? It's
country.
fucking true. I can point that at with 4 trophies.
He's right though in a community sense that you can't replace people. Everything ultimately has to be done by people still.
Yes. A Batman for Two says we just lose a war with just guns, no tanks or air.
Although, let's say I can address it.
I'm not sure.
Spoon brings salt to his own food. Yes, because unlike you fucking limey pricks, we can actually cook.
I'm talking about people with limeys. Rick for Five says, "Hey guys, a friend says monarchy equals bad because family in London pay high taxes." Well, it's not really a monarchy
You pay lower
now,
taxes
is it?
under a monarch, by the way.
Yeah, England is
strange.
not. England is a monarchy in name only, so that's not
There's
a
a
very good
constitutional
argument.
one, yeah.
Tell your friend that Charles is not actually in charge.
Tell him to read The Problems of Socialist England, which was written in 1949 by Bertrand de Juvenel, and talks about the very problems we're having back then.
Absolutely read de Juvenel. Some of the most insightful shit I've ever read in my life.
Scrump would know this. Scrump, when was the last time the English monarch actually held power? Like 1600s, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there was the true divulsion of power was with
House of Stuarts.
Yeah.
Glorious Revolution is what I will say.
Yeah.
Just go and look up all the events that led up to and follow the Glorious Revolution. That's all I can say, really. I don't really have time to explain the Glorious Revolution.
Yeah, don't worry about
stuff with the Dutch and the fact that it followed on from the Restoration, and it's a whole thing.
Well, but Lizzie too did finally end it. Anything that was left of the power in the English monarchy was ended with Lizzie too.
I'd say the last one really was Victoria.
I would agree. It's the last one was Victoria, but like I said, any semblance that was
Victoria.
left.
Anyway, I'll leave you guys with the last of the super chats. Thanks for having me on. I'm going to have to take off now because I'm running out of brain gas.
That's fine. I'm going to unfortunately force Spoon to sit here for another hour or so. But yeah. Cheers, and thanks for coming on. As always, it's always great to hang out, Scrum.
Thanks for having me on. And sorry, before I go, I kept repeatedly asking that one question. I said I'd enter it and I forgot. Oh no! I told them not to spam, and now I remember the question anyway, which point that a lot of people keep. It's a January 6th thing, but it's also people talking about like Dev and I guess like what is it?
I was about to get into the Dev. I was about to get into the Jan 6 stuff, but yeah,
voting for. I'll address that you just before I go.
Sure.
What I've noticed is a lot of the people who are basically quote unquote radical centrists, the entire sphere of that, because they've effectively snapped back to being the regime position. Because a lot of people who are nominally dissidents are drifting rightward, really. For about I know we don't talk about the dipoles, blah 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 blah, but they're drifting towards a less leftist position, let's say, or at least they're drifting away from the regime. And as those people drift off, I think that the remaining people who are stuck in the imagined center ground all just default back to the regime's own talking points.
Yeah,
because really they have nothing else. They have no other framing to draw on. They can't draw on our framing. Can become so alien to them, so they just have to readopt.
Well, they can't drift to our framing because they actually. It's just because they're afraid of being canceled. They don't give a shit. They just want to be able to continue to make money. They don't want to. And I hate to say that, but I think that that's the truth. But let me tell you this, and for everyone listening, like, yeah, you're going to be in a more dangerous position if you hold contentious
positions.
If you don't align with the regime. However, you will gain more respect from the people who are watching you. You will gain more respect from the people who are listening to you if you hold strong to your positions rather than being a flip-floppy. Like, what am I supposed to say?
I will also quickly say that because of that, there is really no point in discussing those things with these people. People, because they do not hold those views because they believe them or they want to advocate for them. They hold them because they are defaulting to them. That's what I see. It's this really kind of. It's everyone eventually on a long enough timeline either becomes like basically Oz or someone like Pete Q or someone like that, or they become like Chris Reagan. They want to be put back in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like I've been meaning to make something about him at some point, but I don't like doing drama. But he's like the perfect example. I made some skits for my radio show because I like to imagine myself as a radio DJ sometimes. It's completely self-indulgent, but I made a joke basically about like ray gun industries, and that it's like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that they'll wipe Halo 2 from your memory so you can experience it for the first time again. And that's kind of what a lot of people default to. A lot of people just want to be put back in.
That's a really good point.
The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind reference speaks to me. It's my favorite movie of all time.
Great film, great film. Big fan of Eternal Sunshine. Best thing. What's his name?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey's ever been in. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that was kind of my joke. That all shoe on hair. That Eddie kind of was quote unquote an anti.
God, it really is. Now I think about it, they want to have that memory erasure to go back to when things were perfect, when the relationship was great.
I'm gonna put it out as a short. Tell you what, you can. I don't know if the audio. You've all. Oh, where's it gone? Sorry, I'm flailing and now attempting to find it.
Don't worry about it. If for those in the audience who don't know, I'll explain while you're looking for it. Before you head out, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The basic plot is that Jim Carrey breaks up with his girlfriend, or his girlfriend breaks up with him, and sends him a letter. Well, this medical clinic sends him a letter that says, "Your ex-girlfriend has chosen to erase you from her memory. Never contact her again, because she won't know who you are." And so he chooses to also have his memory erased. That's what this is.
I don't know if that can come through the audio somehow, but...
let me see. I should be able to just pop this in here. Yeah.
There you go. See if it'll play there.
No, hang on. I have to download it first. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if it'll play in Chrome.
It should. It should.
Will or not. Hopefully it will. It's just a weird little radio skit I made.
Okay.
Life now is so dark and uncertain. Do you remember when things were simpler, you were happier, and you could just sit and play Halo 2, experiencing it for the first time, without a single care in the world? Well, now you can relive your greatest moments with Relift by Reagan Technologies. We will surgically remove the memories of your favorite video games so you can play them like it was the first time, every time. Just pop into a Relive clinic, and our patented Nostalgiatron technology will do the rest. Halo, Gears of War, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, live in the past today. Relive by Reagan Technologies. Use discount code. Oh my God, put me back in! Reagan Technologies is a subsidiary of Lockheed Martin. Not responsible for death or dismemberment. Terms and conditions apply.
Excellent.
That's a plug for. You know what? That's a plug for the radio show. I'm gonna depart, like horrendously promoting a radio show I made about.
Let's go.
Because that's one of the skits in it.
Let's go. Thanks for hanging out with us, Scrump. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Sorry,
and I hope there's a nice promo. Excellent promo to cut.
I'll
Cheers,
speak
man.
to you guys again and bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, where was I with these super chats? Where were we? Oh, okay. He says, okay. Lance for 5 says, in regards to Biden's posturing, the rattlesnake does not shake its rattle when striking.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I have to dunk on Dev, which is being a moron right now.
What's new? When striking prey, but to try and ward off a predator, they are scared. I agree with you, Lance. Slosher for 10 Canadian says, when the trees speak Vietnamese, the snow speaks Finnish, and the walls speak Yiddish. Slosher, that's great.
That's
Holy
really
shit.
fucking good.
Jamie 1 for 10 pounds says, do you think that Britain and Europe are doomed to be ethnically replaced by Arabs and Africans? Not doomed to be. We can fight back against it. We can, but you have to take control. We have to take control. We have to take control back. Lance for 5 says, if there were secret tunnels under the St. Patrick Catholic Church in New York City, you know exactly what the media would be saying. Oh, we all know. They'd be all called, they're P-word tunnels, yeah. Joe Manchin, I always say that wrong, sorry, man, because Manchin it's from my state. For €5 says, the Jews dug too greedily and too deep. You know that they awoke the darkness of Chutzpachdum, Steinberg's bane. I mean, it really is.
I get the impression that might be a movie reference. I don't know.
I don't know what it could be a reference to, but I will say that
possibly
it does,
something to do with hobbits.
It does remind me of this, though. It always reminded me of this. Can I play any of this? Am I allowed to?
Okay. Yeah, well, you're going to anyway.
I'm going to anyway. There we go. I think it's fun. Some of y'all X-Cast are fine.
I'm drunk enough to find this funny.
Just want to get to the chorus. Yay!
Nice.
Ready for the chorus? I'm a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy diggy hole. Diggy diggy hole. I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy diggy hole. Diggy hole. That's all I can play. I'm sure we're already copyright claimed for that. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
we were copyright claimed 10 times over on the stream already.
Yeah, can I just dunk on Dev for a second?
Go ahead. What do you do this time?
Because this dumbass, like, you remember when I said earlier that I can't believe I have to defend V because everyone else seemed to misunderstand his fucking point, which I thought was retarded because V basically kicked the shit out of everyone in a very simple way. This dumbass, okay, he said the N-word, so I can't say that. He said, I thought politics was the only thing you were wrong about.
I was shocked that he said that.
Yes, and then V just said, imagine how bad your takes were that you make the political guy give a response. That would mean me, by the way.
Yeah.
And it said, it gave him more chances to be wrong. And I said, dude, literally the whole of the internet is dunking on your fat ass right now because no one agrees with your shitty take. Like, take the fucking L and shut up, Jesus Christ. This dude says, the whole of the internet consists of 100 people who don't watch me and I don't make content for. Also, imagine being Spoon making a democracy argument. Your popularity doesn't make you right. Dude, they're not holding fucking power. They're just saying you're shit. Democracy doesn't consist of fucking capitalism. They can just look at you and you're shit. They're an opinion. It doesn't mean they're holding power, you dumbass Canadian.
This is why I really do like V. V tells it like it is, man. He doesn't... he tells it how he sees it, I'll say it that way, right?
Shitty argument.
Like, V tells... Should I'm pouring some
Democracy is who should rule, not who can have an opinion about how you're stupid fat-ass Canadian for being wrong.
No, but that's the Canadian position, is that it has to be... No, people can only have opinions if they agree with me.
See, look, Larry in the chat saying, like, Dev cannot take an L ever. Like, Dev, I'm going to say this right now and I don't give a fuck. Dev has the biggest fucking ego. And that's me saying that. But he literally cannot accept
James
wrong.
Lindsay having an ego issue, but...
Like Dev has the biggest fucking arrogance. Like, dude, if you're wrong, just say you're wrong and admit it. Jesus fucking Christ.
Do you know how much? Do you know how much?
Twat.
And please clip this. Please clip what I'm about to say. Okay. I truly wish that Dev and I could reconcile. Whatever the fuck,
Gay.
Why ever he hates me, I don't give a shit. Okay, because that's how I am as a person. I would like to be able to reconcile with Dev. I don't like talking shit about other people. I don't like talking shit. I don't like having to talk shit about
I do, it's fun.
Dr. Lindsay. I don't like to talk shit about Deb. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable and it makes me unhappy. I'm always only trying to to try and get people to get along. That's all I've ever tried to fucking do.
You sound like a leftist.
Leftists don't want to get people to fucking get along. They do the opposite of that. They purport to, but they don't actually do. That's what I actually am trying to do.
Taku is Dev.
That's all I've ever tried to do. And the reason why Dev hates me is because that's what I was trying to do. Oh, it's so infuriating.
The chat is right, by the way. You are smarter than Dev.
I don't know about that. I don't think I'm smarter than almost anybody, but that's fine. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Being more or less intelligent
doesn't matter. That's a really good
matter.
quote in the chat, by the way.
Hmm?
Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. That's really fucking good. That's how I feel about it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a. I mean, it's frustrating when I get. Can we play that bit on stream?
What? Which bit?
Where Dev V describes why you should like VTubers, or where he defends VTubers. Because I thought V's position was yes. Because I thought V. Yeah, just give me 2 seconds and I can put it up. Because I thought
except Pearl, Aiden hates Pearl without any reason. No, I hate Pearl for very good reasons.
She has very good reasons for hating Pearl. Even I will admit that.
And you should look at Brittany Venti's new video if you'd like some evidence.
Oh my god, it's
any of
really
Brittany
good.
Venti's videos on it.
She dunked the fucking hell out of those jackasses who had to go at Isabella for baking the cake. That was so good. I really liked it.
Of which Pearl was one. Pearl was shitting on the Isabella cake woman just because Pearl's fucking jealous.
That's the one.
Look, listen. As a woman, I'm allowed to hate other women when I think they're acting bitchy. I don't hate men unless they've done something really fucked up to me, like and continue to and aren't able to.
We will forever be friends.
I love you too. Words.
F words.
Piece of shit. Anywho,
Thanks for that, you asshole.
Okay, I'm gonna do some of this more J6 stuff. Oh, look at some of this J6 stuff too. While I'm on this point, we weren't on the point.
The January 6th
here's
thing.
Listen to this. These are journalists talking about J6 a day ago. Hanging out to be on the other side. He's driving. We've got a good shot. Driving with the front window open, or if it's a convertible. Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, like he pulls up just like a JFK. We're talking about assassinating Trump, by the way. If you didn't get that.
In any other time period, you'd be thrown in jail.
Look at the cops. Look at the cops are laughing about it too. They're all giggling. Maybe someone just like they told JFK, you know what you should do? You should take a convertible. These are journalists who said that.
That's not disturbing at all.
The FBI is also bragging about hunting down January 6th fugitives in this post. I've got a couple Western Journal articles here.
And then people wonder why we should disband the FBI and CIA. I can't imagine why people feel that way.
Yeah. This is the FBI tweet. It says the FBI executed 3 federal arrest warrants early this morning at a ranch in Groveland, Florida in Lake County. The subjects taken into custody are January 6 fugitives, Jonathan Daniel Pollock, Olivia Michelle Pollock, and Joseph Daniel Hutchinson III. The defendants are scheduled to appear in federal court in Ocala, Florida on Monday, January 8th. No further details concerning their capture are available at this time. They're never going to stop arresting people.
No, that much is obvious.
They're never going to stop. And in fact, here's more evidence of that. They say that there are thousands more arrests pending 4 years later. 4 years later.
For January 6th?
They're saying that there are going to be thousands more arrests, or 3 years later, excuse me. Thousands more arrests.
Because how dare you enter a public building?
How dare you in any way oppose our regime?
Especially when the police fucking let you in.
At the same time, thousands of illegals are just running over the southern border. That doesn't matter.
Oh, but that doesn't matter because they're not white.
No. Graves opened his Thursday briefing saying, on the occasion of this anniversary, we request the public's continued assistance in identifying individuals who committed crimes on January 6th. Now, remember, just being there is a crime.
Yeah.
Who have yet to be identified. And what I would say is, and I've said this before, so like it's not like I'm, revealing anything. My mother was there, and some of her friends. They did not go into the Capitol. They were just out on the Capitol ground. But just wait. They will come for my own fucking mother. They will come for people who were just there on the Capitol grounds. I fucking hope not, but look at what they're doing here. Thousands of it. If you were there, this is a totalitarian regime. This is legitimately getting very close to fascismus because they are working with social media companies, with private companies in collaboration with the government. That's fascism, or it could be communism, depending on the type of regime. In order to identify, basically. It's authoritarianism. In order to identify people who do not agree or do not support your regime, to put them in prison for an indefinite period of time because they are not letting people out of fucking prison over this. It's been 3 goddamn years.
I love democracy. I love the
This is your democracy. This is your democracy. But yeah, as Andy No points out here, flashback, May 2020, far-left rioters tore apart the barrier outside the White House piece by piece in an attempt to storm the building and burn it down. This is fine. This was fine. This is not an insurrection.
And kind of pull them away and just toss them. And then the police will go and bring another part of it and try to reinforce. And when they do that, the protesters confront them, they throw things at them, and the police try to hold their ground.
With freaking medical masks.
This is fine. No one's been arrested. Maybe some of them were arrested, but oh my God. People walk all over the Capitol grounds every single day. Treating it as illegal for a single day is anarcho-tyrannical. I covered the event. A witness zero visual audio indication the Capitol grounds themselves were deemed off limits. But here we have DC U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves is making it clear that DOJ, is now going to target Americans who were on or around the Capitol grounds on J6 but did not enter the building. This is my mother. This is your democracy. If you appear on public space when the left decides that you're not allowed to, they're going to come for you. Let's watch the clip. I'm sorry to bring it up on Twitter.
What happened inside of the building? An important note when it comes to our prosecutions about those who remained outside the building. We have used our prosecutorial discretion to primarily focus on those who entered the building or those who engaged in violent or corrupt conduct on Capitol grounds. But if a person knowingly entered the restricted area without authorization, they had already committed a federal crime.
They had committed a federal crime by being on the National Mall. By being on the National Mall, they had committed a federal crime. On the People's Mall, that is a federal crime now. Well, it wasn't a federal crime until today. Isn't that cute? Unbelievable. This is tyranny. This is truly deep tyranny.
Make no mistake, thousands of people occupied an area that they were not authorized to be present in the first place.
It's literally the People's Mall. You want to see some really gay shit, Spoon? Look at this. By the way, as I said, millions are crossing the border, and the U.S. government's priority is arresting people who were near the mall, who were on the mall. They're the people's space. Watch this fucking insane shit. This is crazy.
Thank you for what you
Crying
did 3 years ago
about
today.
Jan 6.
Please tell me your thoughts on this 3rd anniversary.
What a bitch. What a bitch. It is becoming Tiananmen Square. Let's not get that shit twisted, by the way. It is becoming Tiananmen Square. It will be illegal to talk about this in the United States in like 3 years. Let's talk about more related to Trump stuff. Mark Ruffalo is an idiot. Mark Ruffalo obviously is somebody who has an extreme case of TDS. So he says, gross, MAGA wants to paint everyone on those flights as P words, except for the one guy who smiles in a group of young girls all headed to Epstein's fantasy island with him. My bet is there is some decent Republicans left in the United States, in America, who may think this is going too far. So he posts these pictures. Here's the pictures. Dude, Spoon, do you notice anything about these pictures that seems a little off? Spoon, did he leave? Oh my god, why does he always do this to me, dude? Spoon! I have to, like, wake him up. He falls asleep all the time. Spoon! Jesus H. Christ. Alright, I'm gonna carry the rest of the show, guys, I guess. Spoon's gone to sleep. I don't know how he falls asleep in his chair like this. It's crazy to me. So these images are AI. These are not real. These are not real. Although there are authentic images of Trump with young women, these images are AI generated. Look at all these Twitter community posts. Or community corrections. No. Mark Ruffalo, your massive Trump TDS is fake. Because you're out of your mind. You're a stupid fucking Hollywood influencer who knows nothing about anything, and you're just angry because you're just angry. I can't believe Spoon fell asleep. If he fell asleep, it's really frustrating, but that's fine. He might have just gone and gotten a cup of tea or something. Should have told me that first. So one thing that's fun, though, is that Jim Gaffigan trolled the shit out of all of the Hollywood pedophiles at the Golden Globes this last week.
Globes. I mean, I can't even believe I'm in the entertainment industry. I can't. It's so unlikely. I'm from a small town in Indiana. I'm not a pedophile.
I know, so weird.
You know?
You hear the muffled laughter, because I can't really laugh at that joke. I don't know how he fell asleep within like 5 minutes. It's great. He was just talking like 3 minutes ago. He might have left. I don't know. I'll get through some more stuff and then I'll read the rest of the chats and we'll get out. considering Spoon appears to be asleep. I found this to be really weird. It's something I actually want to talk about Spoon with, but oh well. So, as some of you may know, I'm a really huge fan of the X-Files. Gillian Anderson was also at the Golden Globes wearing this dress.
The dress is designed by Gabriella Hearst.
Yes.
And it has vaginas on it.
The dress has vaginas on it.
So, female anatomy.
It's disgusting.
Can we say?
Yeah.
Okay, why did you choose this?
Oh, for so many reasons.
For so many reasons, I chose this dress that's covered in vaginas.
For so many reasons. It's brand appropriate.
It's brand appropriate. That's an interesting statement.
Very good, I like it. Thank you very much. Take care.
So, what I want to point out about Gillian Anderson is that she was, when Chris Carter was looking to hire Dana Scully on the X-Files, which is what launched Gillian Anderson's career. She had done almost no. She did like one spot on TV beforehand. She had almost no career before the X-Files. All of her career is based on everything post facto is based on the X-Files. Originally, Chris Carter, the director and producer, I think he also produced it, yeah, of the X-Files, but definitely the director. He liked her. No. Nice. Yes, look there, Gillian. He fought for her. Now leave your tongue out. He really did. So a man fought for you to have this job. And by the way, let me explain how difficult it was actually. Because within the first season of the filming of the X-Files, Gillian got pregnant. And then basically said, well, I can't keep working on the show because I'm pregnant. He wrote it into the script. He wrote it into the plot so she could continue to be on the show even though she was pregnant. Chris Carter did all of that for Gillian Anderson. And she's out here being like, fuck the patriarchy, look at my vagina dress. Gillian, your entire career is based on the auspices and the kindness of Chris Carter. And if he did not exist, you would not be a celebrity. I've got a couple of weird things left. I can't believe Spoon fell asleep. He's done it before. How did he fall asleep like 5 seconds after Scrump leaves? Crazy, dude. Okay, so if you haven't seen this, let's just listen to this. We got all the footages in this bit.
The man who attacked a Las Vegas judge in a courtroom was sentenced today to up to 4 years.
Look at what they put him in. So they put this dude into the Hannibal Lecter fucking drip. They put a like mask on his mouth and they put him in chained gloves. Now you might say, and what they're saying on Twitter is, of course, this is racismus. This is the big racisms. Look at how racist they're being toward this man. But wait till you see why they're being so racist, quote unquote, towards this man.
The same judge that Redden attacked last week after trying to convince her that he was turning around.
Oh, okay, they did that. Because when she was sentencing him for his crimes, he leaped at her and tried to attack this judge. And now it's like, oh, it's so racist. It's so racist that they won't let him jump at the goddamn judge. Insane. Insane. I can't believe Spoon fell asleep at like 11 p.m. Alright, I gotta finish the stream, guys. Okay. So here's another interesting thing that happened that went really viral. I'm just gonna play the video, then I'll explain the story. This is at a Bass Pro Shop, which if you're not aware, not from the US, Bass Pro Shop are these like enormous stores. They're gigantic. They're like almost theme parks that sell fishing equipment. They sell hunting equipment. They sell all kinds of outdoor stuff. And they often have these fish tanks. And this dude jumped into the fish tank. This went super viral for a lot of reasons, as you're about to see. Because he went in his birthday suit, right? Sorry. He stripped, went into the fish tank in his birthday suit. This has been censored, so YouTube, don't worry about it. So that's the clip that went viral. But it was an Alabama man arrested after taking a dive into the fish aquarium at the Bass Pro Shop in Leeds, Alabama. The man intentionally drove a vehicle into a pool outside the store before taking his clothes off and jumping into the fish tank. He's clearly like severely mentally ill. When the police arrived, the man, George Owens, refused to get out of the water and taunted them by jumping back in. The man's family says he suffers from mental illness. Yep. He was finally stopped when he tried climbing over the side and knocked himself out. Owens was arrested but continued to struggle when he woke up. He faces public lewdness, resisting arrest, second-degree assault, 2 counts of criminal mischief, including 1 for damaging the police car, and 2 counts of reckless endangerment and others. It seems... Yeah, it's a little fucked. A couple last things. And I'll get the rest of the chats. Claudine Gay, who I will be releasing a video about in the next couple weeks, has not actually been fired from Harvard. She's going to be able to keep her job and her $900,000 a year salary and still teach at Harvard. She's still going to teach at Harvard. That's the TLDR. $879,000 a year, 11 publications, plagiarist. She's going to continue to teach students at Harvard. What she's going to teach them, guys? How to plagiarize? How to be a piece of shit and not abide by academic standards? I'm so infuriated by this. I can't even explain how infuriated I am by this. I mean, I'll explain it in my video, I suppose, but this is antithetical to everything that academia is supposed to be. Did Spoon actually fall asleep? Spoon! I thought I had, like, ping him. I think he just literally fell asleep. He's done this before. Jesus H. Christ. He's gonna, like, he'll wake up, by the way, in, like, 5 minutes, I guarantee this. And I'll be like, oh, what? I was here the whole time. He always does it. Fuck this woman. I read her entire CV. Everything you stole, there was some good data in there, but you stole all of them. And, you're a bitch. And I'm gonna expose all of it. I'm gonna expose it way more than anyone else has. Because I'm going to read I've read your entire CV, okay? Bye, bitch. This was funny to me. I had my meme here about this guy huffed too many of James May's petrol fumes regarding the power of the Dacia. So this is some... Look at this shit. Look at this man-bunned dude. This is in Germany. So if you don't know right now, there's a bunch of German farmers who are protesting tax hikes, and they're extreme tax hikes. Basically, like, all these leftist groups in all these countries across Europe are engaging in extreme tax hikes to make it impossible for anyone to grow food within their own countries for some WEF reason, because they want you to eat the bugs, I suppose. And so this little soy boy has blocked the tractor's path with his Dacia Duster and is now going to try and tow it to get it off the road. Let's see how that works out. He's gonna hook up is gonna hook it up. He's gonna pull it. He's gonna pull this multiple ton trailer with his little Dacia Duster. Oh, are you gonna... Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Man Bun. I love how everyone's laughing at him. Like, he's just literally in the way, physically, with his car. They're just laughing at him, at his attempt. Look at his fucking attempt. I'm actually shocked, because his bumper doesn't come off at the end of this, and it... Oh, sorry, now he puts it into the man bun. It was in a ponytail before. Yeah, you're gonna totally pull this tractor. I have no idea how Spoon manages to fall asleep at his chair. Makes no sense to me. Oh, going great. You're totally gonna pull that tractor. Oh, no, you're not. It's amazing. Leftists have they don't live in reality. They live in a weird fantasy land. Speaking of a weird fantasy land, here's how I'm gonna end it with the tranny news, because it always is. The World Health Organization has appointed this person from Alberta to be a part of their committee on something. I don't really understand, but they've appointed this person to be part of the committee on something. They are somebody who openly goes on TikTok and talks about how everybody needs to, young children need to be put on hormone blockers. Here they are explaining it.
Remember when like Libs of TikTok, Jordan Peterson,
Yeah, I do remember.
etc. got really pissed at me for saying, as a criminal law professor, I feel compelled to tell you to be gay, do crimes on my TikTok.
Yes, it is, man.
Guess what I did about it? Oh yeah, I got a Be Gay, Do Crimes tattoo.
Be Gay, Do Crimes tattoo. Is this someone who is actively telling people to do crimes? Okay.
About it.
Including it, and in the tattoo, there's a Molotov cocktail.
That's what I did about it.
Just to let you know, like, this person isn't talking about, like, doing crimes that are non-violent. This person is saying to do violent crimes, destructive crimes.
If they thought that was gonna get me to back down, they know nothing at all about me.
No, you're very, very violent. I can see that because you're a man. You're a man and you were violent. And that's not all men are violent, but you have violent male tendencies that you can't hide no matter how much estrogen you take.
No, their hatred just makes me.
No, I don't have any hatred towards you. I'm just saying that you're violent because you're a male and you can't get over that. Not all men are violent. Again, most men aren't. But you are a man and you have violent tendencies and you can't hide them no matter how much estrogen you take. Sorry, bitch.
Even harder, including by now having a permanent Be Gay, Do Crimes
Jesus, also look at these titties. Oh my god.
tattoo on my arm.
Can't speak properly. They're Quebecois. So they have a weird French accent. This is crazy. The Human Rights Council was mourning the death of this person. Megan Riley Lewis, a trans woman and mother of two, devoted her life to feeding, housing queer people, was killed in Bel Air, Maryland on December 27th, marking at least the 31st violent killing of a transgender or gender nonconforming person this year. That's terrible, but let's look into what actually fucking happened here. According to WALTV in Baltimore, my hometown, by the way, police reported that on December 28th, an altercation began between Lewis and a food delivery driver identified as Brian Michael Dellon, 47, while Dellon was out on a food delivery. According to WBAL, court documents state that Dellon asked Lewis, "Are you waiting for a food delivery, sir?" To which Lewis took offense to being addressed as sir. An argument ensued, with Lewis yelling at Dellon as he began driving away, WBAL reported. But Lewis followed him on foot. Dellon then got out of his vehicle. The altercation escalated, at which point Dellon allegedly produced a gun and shot Lewis, killing him. I mean, like, because he chased him down, dude. According to The Sun, Dellon had a permit for the weapon, and he had visible injuries on his body. But there was even more. Journalists and senior editors of the Post Millennial, Andy No, commented on HRC's post that describes Lewis as a trans woman and mother of two devoted her life to feeding and housing queer people. No posted what appeared to be a court document with a photo of Lewis as a man in the caption. Your post is misleading. Megan Riley Lewis, pictured below, previously known as Jimmy Wayne Lewis, lived life as a heterosexual male. Lewis's two children have a mother, the woman who was granted a protective order against Lewis in a domestic violence case. The man charged in this homicide incident says Lewis accosted him and pursued him during a food delivery, leading to a fight. Lewis was shot and died. Brian Dellon, the charged man, had documented injuries. No wrote, which is true. This person, this beautiful trans woman, attacked a delivery driver, chased him down, and then got shot in self-defense. And the Human Rights Campaign is going, what a beautiful, wonderful trans woman who had children. The children who were not in this person's custody because why the fuck do you think? Now, normally I have problems with that because I want men to have custody over their children, or at least have dual custody at the very, very minimum. You think the children should have been in the custody of this person? You think so? I'm a little suspicious. I don't think this person should have had custody over children. Imagine what they would do to them. Just a guess. And my last point on that subject, before we head out, because Spoon has gone to sleep, is parents who refuse children gender change face 7 years in jail under SNP, it's the Scottish Nationalist Party, conversion therapy ban. The SNP outlines a proposal to ban conversion therapy. And conversion therapy, let's be really clear about what this means now. What conversion therapy meant in the past was that if you showed up and you said, I'm gay or I'm trans, the therapy would be... Oh, did you wake up?
Shock back to normal.
You woke back up.
Shocking back to normal, which is obviously not a real thing. Although I think people still advocate for it now, don't they?
To what?
The shock therapy is what Pence advocates for.
But that's not what conversion therapy was.
Well, that's what he thinks it is.
No, conversion therapy was to try and get people to accept
change sex
that
via shock.
that you're not gay or to not be gay or to not be trans.
Yes.
No, not through shock. If you no. Much of it was talk therapy.
Are you sure?
1,000%, I'm sure.
That's not really shock therapy, and that's just therapy.
No. See, you've bought into their propaganda without knowing it either. Conversion therapy was not via so ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, is not what was being used here. Conversion therapy was mostly talk therapy. They weren't doing ECT
so that's
here.
just normal therapy then.
But they call it conversion therapy to make it sound like a bogeyman, because they don't want you to know what they were doing, which was that they were trying to be like, have you tried thinking about it?
Yeah,
Can we talk through this? That like maybe we could find some. Are you really a woman? Are you really gay? And I mean, like, I'm not saying that that's necessarily always cool, because it was misused in the past, but that's not what was happening. In all cases. In some cases it was, and not in all cases though. But it was definitely not ECT. Conversion therapy was never ECT. Electroconvulsive therapy is serious shit, and not what conversion therapy is.
Go on.
Anywho. But they plan to ban conversion therapy. And what do they mean by conversion therapy in this case? That means that if a client comes to you, a 6-year-old, mother brings a 6-year-old child to you as a therapist and says, hello, my child is trans. You cannot say no. You must only affirm it. If you try to ask about the child's sexual or gender identity, that's considered now conversion therapy.
The best thing to do would be to use the tool on the mother's forehead.
You can't do anything. Yes, it's obviously parental abuse. Because mummy hasn't enough attention anymore. She's not as hot as she used to be, so she needs some attention on social media. That's all this is, by the way, which is sickening. Proposals published on Tuesday state that the actions are designed to change or suppress another individual's gender identity. That means any form of questioning. Any form of, why do you feel that way? We just ask, why do you think you feel that way? What would it call? Could you describe it? That's conversion therapy under these guidelines, and would become illegal under this law. SNP ministers acknowledge that Scotland's so fucked. That the so-called conversion practices often took place in a family setting, raising the prospect that parents would also be criminalized if they refused to go along with their child's decision that they are transgender. Now, why would a child decide that they're transgender? A very young child, by the way, you can't say no. So let's walk through how this works, by the way. You have a 7-year-old. You show up and you say the 7-year-old is wanting to wear, it's a boy, and is wearing their sister's dresses sometimes, doing dress up. And you go, oh, no, the parents, of course, like, they're excited. They're super excited because for a liberal, there's nothing more exciting than that. They probably pushed it. But let's say you're a regular parent, which is not going to happen here. Now, regular parents could be punished for this. Probably dads. Mom is always so fucking hyped about this because she gets to talk about it on Facebook. Take your child to a therapist. The therapist can't say, Have you ever thought that maybe you're not a girl? All the therapist can do is say, you wear girls' clothing, so do you feel like you're a girl? All they can do is affirmation. They cannot ask questions that would deny the child's quote-unquote gender identity. They can only ask questions that would affirm it. Why do you think this is fucking happening then? Gee, what a conundrum. How is it? Why we have these rising rates of transgenderism that ends up with children mutilating themselves and completely being miserable later in life over it? This is the most sick shit on planet Earth. I'm so disgusted by it. They destroy these children's lives before they've even begun. And they don't care. It's all for their politic. A consultation states that alongside new criminal sanctions, preemptive civil orders could be obtained against parents or religious leaders, even when conversion practices had not taken place. Again, remember that conversion practices are saying anything other than affirmation. If mummy tells you you're a girl and you're a boy, they are not allowed to say, have you thought about that? They're not allowed to ask you. That's considered conversion therapy. The plans are the latest controversial measure to put forward by the Scottish Nationalist Party. Critics argue that the proposals would have devastating impact on freedom of speech, privacy, and family life in Scotland. No shit. The last year's plans made by Nicola Sturgeon, what a cunt, to allow children as young as 16 to change gender were blocked by the UK government. They're going younger than that. I think they want to go as young as 9 now, by the way. Religious campaigners have vowed to fight the bans in court. They should. We have grave concerns that these plans will criminalize loving parents who could face years in jail for refusing to sign up for the gender ideology cult, Marion Calder, a director at the Campaign Group for Women Scotland, said. They will also hand activists and social workers unprecedented powers to meddle in family life while having a chilling impact on therapists and counselors. If the SNP and the Greens insist on pushing this through, it is likely that the same way as the toxic self-ID as named person laws and be blocked in the courts. Directed practices. The measures around gender identity has also included far less controversial steps to outlining discredited practices that aim to turn gay people straight. That's not great way of thank you, The Telegraph. You're such a piece of shit. The Telegraph is supposedly a right-leaning paper, by the way. Providers of services aimed at suppressing or charging a person's sexual orientation or gender would be targeted, with taking someone out of Scotland to access conversion services also to become illegal. Again, that's you're stuck. So you can't even take your child out of Scotland to get them serviced elsewhere by a therapist. What's going to happen? Telegraph doesn't lean right? I thought the Telegraph was more of a right-leaning paper. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. The problem here is, though, in 10 to 15 years, there's going to be thousands and thousands, and it's going to go up every single year, of young people. It's going to be thousands. Yeah. Of young people who are going to detransition and go, I was essentially forced into this. Yeah, but their genitals have been removed. What are they going to do? Maybe they won't talk out about it because they're too afraid, because they'll lose their government funding, right?
Nah, I could definitely still talk about it. Maybe not in kind of blunt way, but they'll find some way to be reasonably word about it.
Yeah. So I'll read the last super chats here. The Black Sword of Nargothrond for 5. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Ironically, like the fundies they hate, the return to the 90s crowd is nostalgic for a time vaguely remembered and are afraid to be proven wrong. Very curious, isn't it? The Einreib for £5 says, tunnel jays dig slowly, they always dig left. Hasselhoff for 5 says,
that's really good, by the way.
It is good. Waiting for Aiden to make a meme of King George III quoting Thanos, you couldn't live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me. Oh, I should. Oh my God, Hasselhoff, that's a great idea. I'll do that. I will do that. DRTS King for 5 says, Spoon is big mad because his salty Scrump won't top him tonight. No. Spoon's not
That
Scrump's
says more
type.
about you.
Yeah. Lance for 5 says...
That's the biggest thing, really?
Yeah, that's my point.
Fucking
Lance
hell.
for 5 says, nothing says patriotism like cheerleading your man grab team on the mirror latitude of the earth. Eat your bitter bowl and return home. Oh, I've
you
never had bitter
envious
bowl. Are
fuckers.
they good? Are they good? Is bitter bowling good? Spin. Is bitter bowling good?
I thought that was a question. For,
It is a question.
No, I thought it was like
Is
rhetorical.
bitter bowling good? Is
Never
bitter
had
bowling
that.
good?
I've never had that, so
You
why
never
are
had-
you asking me?
Because it's Dutch.
Okay. But
That's why he asked, is eat your bitter bowl and return home. All right, never mind. All right, Batman for 5.
That's a Dutch dish. It's not South African. That's why I thought the
Dutch
question was rhetorical. That's why I stayed quiet. Like, I've never had that.
Batman for 5 says, my country was fight for 20 years against a terrorist and lose. The balls to claim that they can bet the people who have the most guns in the world okay. Yeah, that's the American contention. Jake Cotto 345, who's been a member for 5 months, has been at the Squire level. Thank you, Jake Cotto. And Jacuzzi Taizago has been a member for 5 months. And Monarch Tier says, Aiden, you cannot get along with people who don't want to get along.
True.
That deaf guy is a two-faced moron with a massive sore ego. Get along with people who you value and don't care about you. And care about you, and do care about you, Aiden. Like Spoon, mutual respect. Thank you, Jacuzzi. I know that's true, but Jazuke. I keep pronouncing it wrong. Sorry, Jazuke. Yeah, I know that's probably true, but I try to be friendly with everybody. It doesn't always work out, obviously. Clearly. Lance for 5 says, my ancestors are smiling upon me, Fed boy. Fed boy. Can you say the same thing? Hell yeah. Here he goes again. Maine for 5
I can't
pounds
hear
says,
Fed Boy without hearing Ralph.
the ho. Okay, clear this question. What is China? Is it a socialist / communist country with a high capitalist elements, or what is it? That's essentially what it is. Yeah, it's a country pretending to be. It's a country that enacts communist social elements while engaging in capitalist economic elements. Is that?
Slightly
And also
fascistic.
some communist. But they don't redistribute, so there's no redistribution going on in China. So it's a country with communist social elements and completely capitalistic economic elements. You don't get money from the state. If you get more money from the state in the US, we're more communistic in that or socialistic in that way. In the UK. And in China, they'll just let you die. A Galactic Emperor Slurm for 5 says, if you guys haven't seen it, look at the New York Post survey image. Bill will get a kick out of it. I'll have to look that up. Subvey. Hang on. Subway? I can't. All I'm getting is pictures of Subway. Oh, yeah, the picture of the guy digging out of the hole, yeah. The Chabad boys, yeah. Subway. Oy vey, I got it. Yeah. Spoon is like a 30-year-old Grandpa Simpson with his ability to fall asleep during a conversation. LOL, says Slosher for 5 Canadians.
Thanks for
I
that.
know. It's true, though. You did fall asleep, didn't you, Spoon?
Sleepy.
I know. How'd you fall asleep at like 11?
When you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I guess so. Deadpool Kid for 5 says, must be a requirement in order to be famous. You need to be a complete sellout and devoid of decency. Very true.
I'm not sure
And
I agree
finally,
with Elon Musk.
I think that is that, you know what? But Elon Musk became famous out of a result of his ingenuity.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, when you say famous, it's more the case of what are you known for.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
I get what you mean. Exactly.
Yeah. But there's still an element of truth to that overall. I do agree with, though.
The same with Trump, I guess. Yeah. I'm saying but he also embraced all that stuff. Trump did. I'm saying for 2 says, who actually voted for Biden in the 2020 primary?
Stupid
a lot
black
of people who are dead. And were dead also then. Anywho, that brings us to the end, considering that Spoon is very sleepy. I'm going to go and watch Echo and try not to kill myself. If you'd like to watch it together, maybe we could try to do it.
So if Aiden is not around tomorrow, then you know why. It's because she offed herself.
I died.
I
died.
Terrible television.
Well, I don't think I'll kill myself. I think I'll just die of natural causes.
To quote Nico from GTA 4, a bullet to the head is as natural as it gets in this town.
Poor Spoon is falling asleep. Anyway, guys,
6 o'clock.
first of all, I want to say
fuck off.
thank you so much to Scrump for hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll have Andrew on maybe next week, whatever. Ask him on again.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to Andrew. I think we have to have a more outlined
General discussion.
program for him.
Yeah,
Because
we
I
can
think
do
that,
though.
which I'd like to do is, he's a minarchist, as you said, to me.
Apparently,
and
yes.
Allegedly, yeah.
I do think he was.
apparently.
He would have a lot of overlap though with Monarchy.
So I think that we could have a really interesting conversation about monarchy. Minarchists, I think, are like along the lines of people who could most be able to accept the monarchist position, or any libertarian can. But you just have to figure out, and it's not because it's not a common argument, right? So you, as a libertarian, you have to hear the argument as to why would a libertarian want to do this, and or want to support this, and we can explain through it. Not Andrew Anglin, Andrew
Wilson.
Oh man, Wilson. I want to say William, and I was like Andrew Wilson. Who was originally supposed to show up tonight. He's been on the
Whatever podcast.
a lot, but also his podcast itself
The
is
Crucible.
called The Crucible. So check out, either way, whether or not he comes on, check out The Crucible. I've seen a lot of really good clips from that channel. He's got some really good clips on that channel, on The Crucible. So check that out. I am probably going to go
He's
hurt
the one that
myself
did
by
the
watching
debate with
watching Echo.
what's the guy's name?
We watched it on stream. That big fat dude who left, like that fat commie who left
Within, like, 5
15 minutes in. Yeah, it was like, we watched it on the channel a couple months ago.
Shit out of him.
Yeah. He was just a fat commie who left like 15 minutes in because he
Right,
couldn't
it's the
handle
secular
anything. It was
humanist.
hilarious. Yeah, excuse me, the secular humanist. Okay, commie, whatever. Anywho, so we will see you guys. Well, unless the only thing I want to say, I think we're good. All right, I think we're good. I don't know if we're gonna do anything else this week, but I'm still working on my new video. You got anything you're working on, Spin?
A longer-ish sort of essay on why America's constitutional government is in decline. So it's basically like democracy, but like why it doesn't mix with the Constitution.
Sounds interesting. Let's go though. And if we don't see you before then, we will see you on next Wednesday. I will see you also tomorrow. By the way, I think it's still on, right, Bill? Like we're normally on for Thursday. If you'd like to watch a D&D game, I will be on Geeks and Gamers Tabletop tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT, which is 3 p.m. No. And we're starting up our new game on Tuesday next week. So Geeks and Gamers Tabletop tomorrow, and then we're going to start up our own D&D game, should be a Pathfinder game, on Tuesday next week. So more content to come. Anywho, see you guys all very soon. Bye-bye. Take care and cheers.